fucking lame. Yo, all right. Is this live or what? Okay, it is live. All right.
At?
What's up?
Where's Chris at?
He's coming. He's probably on a train or something, doing something silly. So he'll be here soon. But let me just do this so we don't look lame to the world here. If anyone's watching, I see 2 people are watching, so that's good.
What, 2 people are watching?
So far, yeah.
Why don't we have 20,000 people watching? Just saying, man.
Because we're not a New York hardcore podcast.
Well, yeah.
We don't have a bunch of controversy to talk about.
We need to have Hoya on this conversation and Warren Lee, and then we'll have everybody on the conversation.
Fair enough.
All right.
So, welcome to the latest live stream of the Nickel City Soundtrack podcast. We are here joined by one Johnny Chow of various bands that you've probably heard of. Everybody say hey.
Hey.
What's up?
We're waiting for one of our members to show up too. Chris is running late, and he'll be here one of these hours or something. So, Johnny, where are you talking to us from?
Missouri Chow's.
Yeah, are you guys open tonight?
What's that?
Are you open tonight?
No, we're not.
So you're just hanging out at the restaurant?
Yeah, man, we're pandemic hit, you know.
Yeah, I hear you.
We were 7 days a week.
Yeah.
11 a.m. till 2 a.m. But
yeah,
it's a different story these days. So
yeah,
we're open Wednesday through Saturday
okay.
from 4 p.m. on. So we're closed today, and it's a different thing right now with the whole pandemic that's going on with the restaurant business. Yeah, like I'm in the prep kitchen on Wednesdays from noon till 10 p.m.
Yeah,
and I'm prepping all the food, and then on Thursdays I'm in the dish pit and I'm washing dishes. Fridays and Saturdays I'm on the line. I'm making all the food that goes out.
Yeah,
and it is what it is, man. You just do what you got to do to make it happen, man.
Definitely.
Just got to keep your head above water till stuff's normal.
You know, it's definitely normal, but it's also extra normal, so to say.
Yeah.
Meaning that everybody's sitting back and getting their $400 of unemployment and the $300 bonus.
Yeah.
So, you're making $700 sitting on your ass. Why the fuck would you come back and work for me to make $500 working?
Yeah, I hear you.
And that's not just me. It's every restaurant. It's all over, and it is what it is, man. But you know what? One cool thing about this is the silver lining with the whole pandemic for me with the restaurant is that I'm really getting to know every fucking aspect of this restaurant.
Yeah.
I'm getting to know every sauce. Every sauce you taste is made by me. Me, Chow. I made that.
Yeah.
And then on Fridays and Saturdays, your burger that you're eating or your bao buns that you're eating is made by me. It's made by me. And I love that. And it's a really cool thing, man, because I got out of the kitchen like 30 years ago. I started out dishwashing. My Uncle Mike got me into dishwashing. My 15th birthday, my Uncle Mike calls me in. There was this place he just opened up for these 2 guys. He's like, Johnny, happy birthday. I got you a present. Come down to see me. And I go running down to the bar, which was like 2 blocks away. I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck does Uncle Mike have for me? A sweatshirt, a basketball, something. I'm like running down. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I get there and then poof, in my face is a fucking apron. And he says, "Happy birthday. I got you a job. Now get in the back and start washing dishes." I'm like, what the fuck? This sucks, man. At the moment, I'm like, what the fuck? This sucks. But then, you know what, man? As the days progress, and I did it like 3-4 days in a row, and all of a sudden he comes up to me with this little manila envelope, man, because I was off the books, because I was 16 years old, you know.
Yeah.
And he comes up to me and he stuffs this envelope in my pocket, and he's like, "Good job, first week of pay. Here you go. Good job." And then I go out and take a break, and I'm like, "Oh my god, there's $86 in here." I'm like, "This is amazing. I'm 15 years old. All I got to do is put my headphones on and listen to fucking like Metallica and like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and like hardcore, and I don't have to do anything else except put these headphones on and scrub some dishes, and I get this. This is amazing." So my Uncle Mike, thank God he did that. God bless his soul. At the time, I thought it sucked, and I thought he was an asshole. But man, he put the morals and values into me of like, this is what you do, this is what you get. And so
like pre-pandemic, what was your staff like? Were you you weren't in the kitchen all that much? Or?
I was not in the kitchen at all.
Yeah.
I haven't been in the kitchen in 35 years, man. I'm 49 years old. I'm an old motherfucker, man.
Oh, don't say that. You're only like 7 years older than me.
Hello. You're an old motherfucker.
You're not the oldest guy in the room either, so.
What does that make Chris's old ass?
Yeah. That means
Can you guys hear me?
Old ass.
I can hear you, Chris.
No, but
Okay,
you know what? Honestly, it was really cool to have that happen, because it put the morals and values into what it needed to do, knowing that like nobody's gonna hand you anything. You need to work for what you get. And I think a lot of the kids these days just expect a handout. And I don't know, man. I just think it put a different scenario on a child to have them like be working for what they get than what's happening right now.
Yeah.
It's a different scenario. It's a different world. Like I said, I'm a 49-year-old man. It's a different world. And I've had, the whole pandemic. We used to have like 30 plus employees. We have 7 right now.
Yeah.
And those 7 are hardworking motherfuckers. Just like I had that upbringing of working. This is your birthday, but get in the back and wash dishes. You know what I mean? So I'm very proud of where we're at right now with what's going on right now.
Yeah. Awesome. So I guess Chris decided to show up.
What up, Chris?
Yeah, what's up, man? What's up? But got to be fashionably late. Like these things happen.
Hey, man.
I was almost late. I was on my way home. Somebody on Skajakwita just got like, it looked like he got knocked in his quarter panel, and he just like went straight into a guardrail. It was a shattered car everywhere. Dead standstill.
At least it's not you.
I made it.
So let's get into some music talk, I guess. You want to start this off, Chris?
Where do you want to start? You want to start with the almighty Overlord?
Overlord.
I was talking to Mike Lampy a little while ago, and he was talking about how he was the singer. I somehow didn't know that.
Well, I'll tell you what. Overlord was like a thing that happened. It was just like happening. It was this guy, Rob from Buff State. This guy, I think it was out of Long Island, if I'm not mistaken. He was a Buff State student. And the main person was Mike Lamp, who was laying down the drum beats. And then me and Eric Rice, Smokey.
Yeah.
And Ralphie Boy even was involved in that. You guys know Ralph?
No.
Talk about Ralph Sheehan?
Ralph Sheehan.
Oh, really?
I think Ralphie Boy was a little bit a part of that. And just so you guys know, when I'm telling these stories, I was very fucked up on a lot of this time. Like drinking, smoking weed like crazy. Like, so timelines, little mix and match. But
yeah, it happens.
You know, it was one of those things where like Overlord was something that was on a whim. It was very like spur of the moment kind of thing, where Mike Lamp laid down some beats, and I think it was Rob was laying down guitar lines, and me and Eric Rice were chanting down some crazy stuff. Hey, Fe Supremo. Hey, Fe Supremo means Overlord in Spanish. And
yeah. I always love bringing it up because nobody knows anything about it. So it's always like, it's, you know, kind of cool to dig into deep Buffalo history because there'll be people like Overlord, like, what's he talking about? And there'll be a couple of people who'll be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know who's got the memory of it all? The hardcore memory, who is like totally focused the whole time? Mike Lamp. You need to get Mike Lamp on the show.
Yeah.
And Mike will lay it all down and tell you, he'll speak the truth.
Yeah. I've talked to him about being on. He's definitely going to be on. I just got to like reach back out to him and make it happen. Because I mean, like, you know, he's just his history, but also like being one of those guys in the late 80s, early 90s doing hip hop in Buffalo when nobody really kind of was.
Yeah.
You know, with like Project C and Mouth for War. Like,
Project C was amazing.
Yeah, totally. It sucks that
was like
nobody has those tapes anymore.
That was where hip hop, like the first, like I shouldn't say the first, because the first is like the sugar daddy, right?
Yeah.
But the second movement, which was very strong, like very word-oriented movement, meaning like people were taking things in a serious manner, like Public Enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're taking this shit to the next level. Public Enemy took it to the next level, where we're bringing this. Mm-hmm. And then you had the Eric B. and Rakim's, Tribe Called Quest, all that other stuff that was going on at the time. But we were stupid, young, white kids that were into hardcore music that absorbed all of that feeling, because we were still city kids, like Eric Rice, Mike Robinson, myself, Eddie Malone, Darren Pfeiffer. We were city kids, man. We weren't from the suburbs, where a lot of people were. It was a mix. I don't know how to say this properly. It was a weird mixed match of where the suburbs met the city, but the suburbs were hard as fuck. Mark Palanca, Andy Parker, like John Drenning, Alan Formella, like all these people, like were suburban people living in Kenmore or Sweet Home area, and they were tough as fuck. And we were these street tough kids, but we met in the middle, and we were like, oh my God, we like all the same shit. And there should be no fighting. We should unite. Like, it wasn't that thought, but it just kind of happened that way.
Yeah.
No doubt.
But,
so
I don't know where I was going with that. My apologies. I've had a couple too many
for a second. I was like, I'm not sure if
let's there we go. Sorry.
We got our first endorsement. Let's start talking about, like, you were there for the first days for Zero Tolerance, and then you ended up joining ZT. Let's talk about, like, those early days, like, watching Zero Tolerance, like, kind of happen.
So for me, man, like, there's this guy now, like, he's up on all these crazy charges, Joe Bella. And he's up on all these crazy charges. We were just young, like St. Joe's kids. We were just like before St. Joe's. Like, we were just like kids, like Tim Ganley, Ben Wall, Eric Rice, Mike Kringle, all these kids. We were just hanging out, just being like skater kids. And like, we were just like kids just trying to experience life. And to be honest, man, I went to this school called Campus West CLL. Campus West CLL. So the CLL stood for College Learning Lab. So between each of the schoolrooms was a door where these college students would go up and watch us to like observe how they're being a college student or how to be a teacher. And so I was on the campus of Buff State, and I got to know like a bunch of people that were, similar to me. They were just getting into skateboarding. I was just getting into skateboarding. We're talking about 8th grade. I'm 49, so go back, do the numbers. I'm bad with years. So we're talking about like hooking up and like skateboarding at the quad. And I remember actually seeing Violent Femmes at the quad before I knew what the fuck the quad was.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, and the Violent Femmes to me were just like, this is different. This is cool. It's not 14 Rock. Any of you guys remember 14 Rock?
Yeah.
That's all, Chris.
You old motherfuckers. So you remember.
Yeah.
It's not Quiet Riot. It's not fucking whatever. It was something different. And so, like, I went and saw the Violent Femmes when I was like 14, 15 years old at the quad for Buff State put on these shows. Like the Spring Fest or whatever, just like UB used to do. And so I saw the Violent Femmes for the first time. And I was like 14, 15 years old. I'm like, oh my God, this is game changing. But the most game changing out of it, I know I'm going off on a tangent, and I don't know what the original question was.
Tangents are all the good stuff, man.
Yeah, take it where it goes.
The tangents are the good stuff. Just let it happen.
So for me, man, I started skating around Buff State because the campus of my school was on Buff State's campus. And so I was able to skate around and do all this stuff and have fun on the campus of Buff State, skating at the quad, all this stuff. And then all of a sudden there's a radio station? Let's listen to the radio station. I started hearing jams out like from the Jam and like all these fucking psychedelic furs, all these cool new wave movements that were happening. And experiencing the first wave of new wave, like X and like Gary Newman. And I'm like, oh my God, Cars? Like that song Cars? You guys know the song Cars by Gary?
Yeah.
Dude, all of a sudden, I was like, whoa, there's more than classic fucking rock? There's more than this bullshit that like I always get subjected to by radio, but all I have to do is turn into 91.3 WBNY and I get different. This is amazing. And then also, I started discovering what the fuck? The fucking Midnight Riot.
Yep, Andy Mauer.
The Mauer,
Mad,
the Mauer
Mad
brothers,
Dog Mauer.
the Mauer brothers, and
Yeah.
don't forget, don't leave out Steve Castillo.
So this is going to totally sidebar. Where is Steve Castillo nowadays?
I have no
For
idea.
people who don't know, Steve Castillo is was like a college level professor with a mohawk that went to shows.
Dude, he was
And
his mohawk was for real too.
yeah, it was one of the like 5 legit mohawks of Buffalo. Like you saw him, you knew exactly who he was, and I always wondered what happened to him. But I guess that mystery is still going.
It's a mystery to me, man. I don't know. To be honest with you, I should probably ask Brian Foister, who is one of the most biggest icons of Buffalo hardcore. Brian might know where he is. Brian, if you're listening in, please text me right now. Because I have no idea.
I'll ask him after we're done with this. I didn't even think to ask him.
Brian would know. You know why? Brian was the most integral piece of Artie Kutchoff and Brian Foister more than Artie Kutchoff. Brian Foister was actually, man, you know what? You motherfuckers need to have Brian on because he is the godfather. He is the one who will remember all of this shit, man.
Yeah. We're
like my memory's blurred. I was wasted back then. We were fighting. We were punks. We were doing what we were doing, but like Brian remembers all of it.
Yeah, we're gonna have him on.
Actually, to the point where when Sick of It All wrote their book, and they had this book out, and they talked about the head in the bag, it was completely wrong. And Brian and I talked about how it really went down.
So tell us how it went down, because
we'll get back to that
about
later.
The head in the bag.
We'll get back.
I can note of that. I can know that.
Unless you want to talk about it right now.
Why bury the lead?
What's that?
Why bury the lead? I think we should just
go
for
now.
it.
Let's go.
All right. So we're hanging out. We're in fucking Monroeville, Pennsylvania, outside of Pittsburgh. And this is the fucking truth, man. I love Pete. I love Lou. I love Armand. Like, I love these guys. We were tight as fuck with them. Sick of It All, man, took this band Zero Tolerance under their wing and was like, yo, you guys are some for real shit. And took us out on the Weekend Warrior tours that would be like 3 days out, or whether it be like, yo, we're going down to Florida, whatever it may be. Sick of It All fucking hooked up ZT. Took ZT under the wings. So at the time, I was not playing in ZT, but I was like roadie. But roadie back then meant like I'm just a friend helping to push shit in, push shit out, sell merch here, sell merch there, fucking do whatever needed to be done. I'm just a friend. Or it meant like at some shows, I stood on the side of the stage with a fucking fake Dookie chain and a fake Uzi like the S1Ws from fucking Public Enemy when they were playing their shows. Like, that's how stupid that shit got. But when we were in Monroeville, which is outside of Pennsylvania, this motherfucker rolls up. It was after the show. It was like Lou and Pete, Armand. I don't know who else was there, to be honest. And it was most of ZT, myself. Everybody just got finished loading out. And all of a sudden, this motherfucker shows up with a burlap sack. And it was super dark on the burlap sack. And it's funny because, like, in the Brian just sent me the actual PDF of what Sick of It All accounted for that night. And it was actually completely wrong. No offense, Lou and Pete, anybody from Sick of It All, but it was completely wrong.
Right.
And Brian and I both agreed because Brian was the fucking one that was not drinking. He was a sober guy. He was a manager. He was a tour manager. He was the one who put all this shit together. And this guy, we were all, it was the end of the night. We're all kind of like hanging out, like shooting the shit, you know, Sick of It All just finished loading up their trailer. And all of a sudden this dude shows up. He's like, man, fuck you motherfuckers. I got a fucking head in the bag kind of thing. And we're like, what? What? And this dude had this burlap sack. I remember it not being a brown bag, but it was a burlap sack. And and the one thing that Sick of It All said was in their book is that it was soaked on the bottom. It was soaked on the bottom. But if it was a paper bag, the shit would have broke open.
Yeah, totally.
Soak a paper bag, see what happens. You know what I mean?
It
was a burlap sack this guy had. And it was soaked on the bottom. And this motherfucker pulled up this fucking head that I did not see. I think it was Lou Kroller or Pete Kroller. One of those two were like, whoa, oh my God, motherfucker's got a head in the bag. And everybody exploded. Everybody took off. We ran to our fucking van. Sick of It All didn't even have their fucking trailer hooked up on the back of their van, and they took off. And we're running to the van, and we get to the van, and we get in, and Brian Foister, who's the head of everything, because he's our tour manager, and he's like doing everything for us, for the band, he drops the keys, and it's like a horror film. Oh my God, drop the keys! Holy shit, hurry up! They're coming on us. He's coming on us. And it was, we ran over shrubs. We went over fucking barricades, shrubs in there. Like, Brian Foister definitely had to pay somebody to fix the van, because the rest of the way home from Pittsburgh, that van was fucked up from going over all these curves. But that was a fucking for real thing that happened. And the Sick of It All guys are like, yeah, they're New York guys. I see heads in the bag all the time. You know? We're fucking young Buffalo kids. We're like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, just walking home, I saw a head in the bag. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, you know, normal shit. Normal
bodega. You stop at the bodega for a drink and a head in a bag.
Exactly.
Was the guy wielding a weapon or anything? Or like?
Well, apparently he had a weapon. He had a gun in his pants. I wasn't looking at his pants because everybody was looking where he was saying, I got a head in the bag, I'm gonna chop your head off too, motherfucker. I'm not looking in his waistline.
Right.
I'm not looking at his waistline. I'm looking at, like, this guy's got a burlap sack that is like burgundy soaked in the bottom, and he's pulling out a head. And Lou and Pete Kroller are like, let's get the fuck out of here. He's got a head in the bag. And we all, everybody split, man. Everybody split. There was no friends at that point. It was like, where we go? Let's get the fuck out of here. Right the fuck
Get your van and roll.
Yeah.
I don't know if
I don't even know how old we were. Like, we were still so. But you know what? Brian Foister brought up to me the other day is that Nirvana played 2 nights before at the same place that we played at. This is before they were Nirvana.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what's kind of cool about hardcore, man. Not Buffalo hardcore, not New York hardcore, LA hardcore, hardcore in general. Is that hardcore in general, man? Like, you had a feeling of like you could go out and just do it. And that's what Nirvana was doing before they were Nirvana. And it's just like, all of a sudden, that genre, that band picked up and took off. And we were doing the same fucking thing, except we were more brutal. We were more heavy. We were more in your face. You know, we were more like, you know, you got a problem with us? I'll black your fucking eye out. And Nirvana was more like, oh, look at us wearing our, like, you know, our flannels like I'm wearing right now. By the way, mine's lime green and fancy. You guys like that?
Yeah, it's very. It is.
Very
is that a
nice.
Dixon?
Very luxurious.
But you know,
Are you rocking
what
the
I'm saying,
Dixon?
though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Though.
Well, when
It was a
Nirvana,
different vibe.
Yeah. When Nirvana hit, like made it big, I was in Illinois and people were like, "Oh, the grunge look," and I'm like, "Dude, that was just everyone from Riverside."
Yeah.
It wasn't like the
Yeah.
grunge look. That's just the white trash look. And then people were like, "Oh yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
You're right." It's like, yeah,
Exactly. And I'll tell you what, man. At that time when you're talking about like Nirvana was hitting, and we played that place 3 days after Nirvana played it, I'm like, who's Nirvana?
yeah.
Who's Nirvana? Who the fuck is Nirvana? Smells like Teen Spirit? What's Teen Spirit? Like, I didn't know who the fuck they were. I was just so over focused and being like hardcore, metal, hardcore. Fuck this shit. Fuck anything that's like popular. You know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, when Kurt Cobain died or committed suicide or was killed or whatever the fuck they say he was, I was working in the kitchen, and the station that was the main station at the time that all the cooks would listen to, they played Nirvana for like 3 days straight over and over. It was all Nirvana. I'm like, fuck this Nirvana shit, man. And then I was like, oh, some of this shit is cool. Oh, that song's cool. I like that song. Oh, wow, I like that song too. So, I mean, you get over focused sometimes when you're like, you become too over focused. And when you become too over focused, you become like cut off from the real world. And I was like cut off from the real world that was going on. And I'm not talking about pop or anything like that. I'm just talking about like, I cut myself off from having any other source of cool music. It was either Slayer, Suicidal, like, you know what I mean, Judge. Like it was stupid for me to be like that at that time because I was such a hardcore kid. And why do you cut yourself off?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you really need anything besides Suicidal, but
you know what, man? I'll tell you what. I was listening to Toby from H2O, who I lived with at one point. He's got a podcast, One Life, One Love, I think it's called. And he was talking
One
about
Life, One Chance.
Yes, that's what it is. That's what it is. And he was talking about how, like, everybody, like some people that he was with, liked the classic rock shit, and then some people are like, fuck classic rock, fuck that, this and that. But if you actually think about it, man, how did you grow up? What did you listen to? What the fuck did you motherfuckers first hear? I'm asking you. What did you guys first hear that took you into music?
So I'll say it, like, my dad, like, the thing, I got my musical interests to begin with from my dad, and it was like the Beatles, the Doors, Jesus Christ Superstar, stuff like that, and then my sister tried to get me into punk, but I wasn't into what she was listening to. But then when I heard the Violent Femmes, that's when I kind of turned around.
Dude,
on all of that. Yeah, man. Violent Femmes for a certain age is the gateway bands. Yeah. What about you guys?
I started out with like new wave stuff, and then later my older brother was into hip hop, and he got me into that stuff. And I eventually got to hardcore, various punk and stuff.
Yeah, my dad like listened to like Motown and stuff, and that's like all I had. He had a bunch of records and stuff, and I don't know how I found like hardcore and all that stuff. I kind of just kept it drifting away into that because I was kind of a loner, and I think I got into hip hop and hardcore. I think it was because it was loner music to me, and that spoke to me, I guess, and that's the only reason why I got into it, I think. So
I love that. I love everything that I'm hearing, because what I'm hearing is hardcore was not the first thing you guys fucking heard.
No.
Right.
Yeah. Everybody thinks like, oh, you got to listen to hardcore, and it's hardcore only. No, motherfuckers. We all started somewhere.
Definitely.
So for me, my first album that I ever had, and by the way, we have a record player in my house, and we listen to Wax, and you should check out the Western New York Vinyl Collective on Facebook, just so you guys know. It's super killer. It's such a wide variety of fucking great music, man. So many different genres, but like for me, my father listened to opera and classical music. So my first album, my very first album, was the Star Wars album. It was Gatefold.
Did your dad have the Did your dad have the Star Wars disco record? Because mine definitely did.
Disco record? No. My dad was well, I'll tell you, it probably was fucking amazing. My dad was very much like a conservative, not conservative voting, not a Republican like that, but like not a pot smoker. He drank beer. Like we always had a case of fucking Labatt Blue in the basement, and the cooler or the refridge that was from 1916 in the fridge, but I grew he liked opera, he liked classical. So my first album was a Star Wars album. And then my next door neighbor, who I grew up with, Dan Slater, his father was an ex-hippie. It was who was a University of Buffalo professor, history professor. And he introduced me to the Beatles and Led Zeppelin and the Stones and all that. But when I got introduced to like that rock and roll side, I didn't like the Beatles. I liked the Stones. I liked the Who. I liked Zeppelin. They were more nastier. You know what I mean? The Beatles were too like.
They were pop. They were pop for the time.
They were pop, and they were like, "Hey, let's all hug each other and suck each other's dicks." Like, you know what I mean?
I think those are actual lyrics.
But the Stones were talking about fucking heroin and fucking street fighting man.
Yeah.
Like, I'll pull a knife out on you, man. Let's do this. You know what I mean? And Zeppelin. Oh my God, the musicianship in Zeppelin, dude. I'm sorry, John Bonham and John Paul Jones. Forget about it. Those two motherfuckers, the drummer and the bass player, dude, the best rhythm section you'll ever find. Besides Geddy Lee and Neil Peart. You know what I mean?
Is that kind of what led you to bass?
And, well, you know what, man? Led me to bass, that's a whole other thing.
Let's go there.
We want to go down.
Let's go down the bass path.
Let's go.
Do it.
Okay. So, I had a friend across the street, Bobby Moynihan. He was a drummer. And I had a friend, Mike Carino. Actually, Mike Carino was part of Zero Tolerance. He was a drummer. The original, I don't want to say the original drummer of Zero Tolerance, but he was a drummer of Zero Tolerance.
That's the guy that was from the Ramrods, right?
No. That was guy from the Ramrods was.
Hold on. I would have to take my headphones off to pull out the Ramrods record.
Oh my God. Who was that guy? That was the drummer. The drummer from the Ramrods was the drummer in Buffalo at the time. Black Cats were about, all those bands like that. Oh, Chambers. I guarantee you it's Chambers.
All right.
Not Jimmy Chambers, like the drummer Jimmy Chambers. If I'm correct on that, even.
Yeah, I'm not.
Are you
I'm
taking
not
it
sure
out? Are you checking it out?
Oh, hold on. Let's see if I can find my Ramrods record. Oh, you have it? Look at you go.
Yeah, hold on a second. I'll go grab it. You guys can talk.
I mean, really, all I have to do is turn around. It's not like I don't have to actually go anywhere, Derek. But okay, cool. So what led you in the bass direction?
Well, the whole bass direction was like there was no bass direction. It was like I garbage picked a fucking like hollow body 335. Like somebody threw out something that was precious, but the neck was fucked up on it. But it only had the low 4 strings on it. And the low 4 strings were the low strings, meaning like there was no high strings on it.
Mhm.
And they were round wound. And I garbage picked this. I'm like, okay, I can play guitar with you guys. Didn't know what the fuck guitar playing was. And he's like, dude, just follow me. Just play with your fingers or a pick. One note kind of thing. Do 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 do, you know, kind of thing, where he turned me up all the way bass and treble all the way down. I had 4 strings.
Yeah.
And so we were playing Suicidal Tendency songs in the basement at Bobby Moynihan's house. And it was just like, it was awesome. Like, we're just doing covers. Like, whatever we heard on the Midnight Riot, which we taped.
Yeah.
By
You
the
had
way,
to. It was on
I
at midnight.
Yeah.
It's school in the morning.
Hence the Midnight Riot.
Yeah.
And it was midnight to 2 a.m. It was a 2-hour program. But I listened to it every Thursday. It was Thursday on WBNY. And even before that, man, the Painkillers were about. Let's not forget about the Painkillers.
Everyone who like has listened to any episode that the Painkillers come up know that I'm like a huge fucking Painkillers fan. And it pains me every day that I don't have the record and I lost the tape 30 years ago. And I will never stop complaining about that.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Somebody's typing away like a motherfucker. Holy shit. Picking up I just hear
it might actually be me. No, maybe it's not me.
Well, okay. All I got to say about Painkillers. So, like I was telling you before about being a part of Buff, like going to school at Buff State and being at a campus on Buff State, I got to know WBNY because skating and this and that, and I got to know the Painkillers. The first show I ever saw was in WBNY, was in the studio, like whatever, like the commonplace in the studio. And the Painkillers performed. And Paul Galvin, like I just made a connection with him. I said, holy shit, this is the next level. This is like, for me, it was like, listening to BNY, I started to get introduced by like, you know, some early new wave and like ecstasy and all these like early punk rock, the Jam. I'm at a draw right now because I'm on the spot right now. I mean, all these the first wave of punk rock, which was actually the first wave of new wave. And that led me into the first wave of punk rock. And I'm like, holy shit, this is amazing. Like, you're talking about fucking crazy shit of like, fuck you. Like Rage Against the Machine. Fuck you, I don't care what you tell me. That, how many years ago was that?
What at this
10
point?
years
Like,
ago? Yeah.
No, I was like 30 at this point. Almost.
But punk rock was like 30 plus years ago saying, fuck you, I don't care what you tell me.
Yeah.
It's just that Rage Against the Machine actually sang about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
In that format. And in an actual format that was acceptable, that was pop. But it was so underground. I mean, it was so underground. And then I discovered going to see the Painkillers play at WBNY. And I was like, oh my God, this is next level. This is holy shit. This is fucking crazy, man. I think Rich Wall might have been the program director at the time. And Rich Wall is now the second in charge for the Film Commission in Buffalo. So he's right. Like, he was on 103 as a program director and then moved on. And now he's like second in charge for the Film Commission of Buffalo, which is awesome. And his younger brother, Ben, and I and all our crew, we all hung out, man. We were all skaters. Ben should have been probably a sponsored skater, but we were skating in the quad, and we discovered WBNY, which for us, we discovered the Painkillers. And I actually have an album, man. Paul Galvin, dude. No joke, guys. So I helped open up a restaurant called Ellen Burger Measure about 5 years ago or so. I was a bar manager. My lady Chrissy was the general manager. And before we were open, we had the Allentown Art Festival.
Yeah.
That's all throughout that whole area.
Yeah.
And we were at Allen and Elmwood. So we're like, why don't I like make T-shirts and make plaques and sell them out of here? We're still under construction, but it's an art festival. Let's sell them out of here. And so the first day Paul showed up, Paul bought a couple plaques and T-shirts. The next day he shows up, he's like, yo, John Mark. He's like, dude, I got something for you, man, because you've been a fan for way back, but this has no album cover. And it literally was an album with the white sleeve. And on the white sleeve, he wrote on this.
Yeah.
This album has no cover. Name it yourself. Please pass it along. And I'm like, holy fuck, Paul just gave me this fucking album. And it was a Painkillers album that was never released. But I kind of remember some songs being released off of it because they were very much the same songs that were on that album. But it was probably not a complete album. And then I had the complete album. And
well, I had a tape. Like I had the Good Morning America tape that had like 15 songs or something on it. And that had looking at the record. What's that?
I was going to say, Good Morning America, that was all on that album.
Yeah, I think that album, I think the album got made, like the tape came out and then at some point they pressed it on vinyl, but there were no covers. There's no word on how many are. I've heard a rumor that there's a bunch of them in Paul's girlfriend's house. It's like the most mystifying record of Buffalo.
Yeah,
I just heard that record all the way through for the first time ever, like a couple of weeks ago.
It's amazing, right?
It's so fucking good.
When you listen to it and put that shit up against any of the stuff that was going on at the time, whether that be Descendants, fucking Dayglow, like, you know what? Actually, I gotta say something. I'm gonna cut in really fast. Okay, so like, we grew up in a different time, and we're in a different time right now than what we grew up in. And a friend of mine posted on the New York, like the Midnight Riot site. He put a post up about Angry Simones, and I was like, man, I love the Angry Simones. They were such an integral part of my fucking life, dude. The fucking Back from Samoa. What is it?
Mm-hmm. Like Lights Out.
Yeah.
Lights Out's the song.
Yeah, man. Like
My Old Man's a Fatso.
Yeah.
You know what other song is on there? Homosexual.
Dick or something. Like that.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm sorry. I don't know how you guys feel, but you know what? Fucked up. Homosexual up the ass. Homosexual make it less. Why is it gotta be like? I know it was like back then they were trying to get the most gnarliest thoughts out of people. But you know what? Now, you know how many people that I have that work for me that are homosexual? You know how many friends that I have that are homosexual? That has such a denotation that I don't even want to listen to it anymore. But that album was such a fucking huge album for me. But it killed me looking back at it now. Because a friend of mine told me, who was gay, and who he's like, I'm like, oh my God, that's so silly, Mark. That's so gay. And he's like, what do you mean gay? I'm like, gay meaning like that's like silly. He's like, what do you mean gay? So gay means silly, so I'm silly because I'm gay? I'm like, I don't know. That means like, gay, silly, stupid. I don't know. He's like, so I'm gay, silly, stupid? I'm like, oh. It all hit. It all hit for me. And it made me realize what the fuck is for real, man.
Yeah, you also had real dumb shit for a long time.
Yeah. And I posted that to somebody who posted about the Angry Samoans. I'm like, you know what, man? Great band. This album was amazing for me as my youth. One song takes it all away.
Yeah, like you're not 15 anymore. It's not the same thing.
And all of a sudden, I realized what homosexual was. And I'm like, oh, yeah, not cool.
Yeah.
Not cool. Because if you actually listen to the lyrics and look back, and I know what the guy responded to me with was like, this was back then. And I get it. But at the same time, it's like, sucks, man. Takes one song to ruin it all. Because that album for me was a huge album in growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Those songs were in my head all the time.
Yeah.
But it's a different thing now, man. And I think we need to take notice of that it's a different thing. That you can't be like singing songs about homosexual up the ass, homosexual making laugh, homosexual. What? No. Wrong place.
100%.
Wrong place, man.
It was kind of like the same thing with like the Beastie Boys earlier on. That License to Ill has a lot of very questionable lyrics in there.
Yeah.
Which they addressed and, when, said they were wrong. But, like, that album was important to me when I was a kid.
Do you know what the working title of that record was, Derek?
What's that?
Do you know what the title of that record was supposed to be?
Yeah.
I don't. What was it?
The title of License to Ill was supposed to be "Don't Be a Faggot."
Wow.
Like, that was supposed to be the actual title of the record.
See, that's fucked up, man.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they didn't put that out like that.
Yeah. Even the Descendants have like addressed some of their questionable songs, and they don't play them anymore.
Yeah.
Like they don't play them anymore, and they don't sing the lyrics. Like in Loser, they drop the whole line. Like the kind of anti-gay line that's in there. They don't sing it. The songs like that they don't do. So I mean, people get it.
I'm 49 years old. I don't know how old you guys are, but I'm 49 years old. When my friend Mark told me, like, what do you mean gay? Like, I'm like, oh, Mark, that's so stupid. That's gay. And he told me, and he corrected me. It made me realize, man. And I think that's what we all need to do is realize, like, oh my God, you don't call a person with mental disabilities a retard anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had a kid growing up next door from me that was mentally retarded as a kid, quote unquote. But I don't call him a retard. He's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you have
challenge.
to
I get
consider.
it. Definitely get it.
Yeah.
You have to consider.
Yeah. Yeah. And like,
I'm just glad some. Go on.
No, go ahead.
I'm glad some people are a little more enlightened than other people. I'm not going to name any names,
Yeah,
but I think it's cool that people.
It's really nice to.
I think it's cool that people give a shit about this stuff and don't just like say, "Oh, we were young." They actually consider it and look back and check themselves.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice to hear a 900-year-old man actually sound like he evolves over time. As opposed to
that's how we're going to move forward.
Yeah,
agreed.
That's how we're going to move forward, man. I'm a 900-year-old man who has heard that. Yeah, fuck you, motherfuckers. Don't think that I don't think you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Alex.
Hey, I pulled out that Ramrods record, and the drummer's name is Craig Voigt.
What's his name?
But I think
Craig Voigt.
Voigt.
I think it was the singer for the Ramrods who played drums. I think it was the singer.
Is Bill Scott?
Bill Scott. That's who it is. Bill Scott.
Yeah.
Yes, Bill Scott. That's who it is. That's right. Holy shit. I haven't heard that name in
That would be this guy right
40
here.
years.
Do you recognize this picture, Johnny?
Wow.
What is that? Is that I mean, it's clearly the Carhartt endorsement is Chow, but what is this?
It's from Erie. Kelly
Oh,
Kelly sent me a picture. Said it was a show in Erie that Slugfest and ZT played, where I guess it was freezing.
Got the lake effect.
Yeah.
What's up, Kelly? Kelly's awesome.
Awesome.
yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, where were we? Oh, so like how did you? So you were in ZT at the end there, but you were with ZT the whole time. Like what was the catalyst to make you decide that you were going to be like a professional bass player?
So we were all just friends, dude. We were all just friends, man. We were all just hanging out. There was no like, okay, you're the tech and you're the bass player and you're the guitarist and it was ZT. It was the scumbag. I won't mention his name because I'm not going to give him any fame. Mark Polanka. The ZT that we all know. This is the lineup. The scumbag, Mark Polanka, Eddie Malone, Darren Pfeiffer, Eric Rice. That was the fucking lineup of ZT. That was the lineup that changed everything for fucking Buffalo hardcore. That changed shit for hardcore in general. Sick of It All took that band under their wing and took them on tour like crazy. I mean, like Sick of It All recognized that. Like
Has there ever been a
all the bands recognized it, dude. I mean, not only just all the bands recognized it, but like Brian Foister's putting on a show at the Scrapyard. Maybe it might have been Artie Kutchoff. I'm not sure. I think it might be Brian Foister. Brian, you can correct me because I know you're listening. But the Scrapyard, Tool, as huge as they are, they opened up for Zero Tolerance. Like ZT made a stamp. That was the lineup then. Mark Polanka, Eddie Malone, Eric Rice, and the Scumbag.
And Darren Pfeiffer.
And Darren Pfeiffer. My apologies. I will never give notice to the Scumbags thing because that's fucking bullshit. And that's a whole other fucking podcast for something else.
Yeah, but that's when we
don't even talk about it. Let's not even talk about it. Let's not even go there. We're stopping right now.
So what motivated you to move to New York after ZT broke up?
The Scumbag charred my name in Buffalo.
All right, so we'll skip over that.
And my father told me, who never saw a single show in my life or anything like that, if you're gonna follow this music thing, get the fuck out of here right now. Get out of here. Go to Los Angeles, Nashville, or New York. And Eric Rice was already in New York. And I'm like, I'm following Eric, so I'm going to New York. So I moved into the H2O house. And I lived at the H2O house at, was it 3? Trying to remember the address. But either way, it was the H2O house. Toby was living there. Everybody except Rusty was living in the house. And
where was this in? Queens, Brooklyn?
No, Jersey City.
Jersey City.
Mm-hmm. So
the sixth borough.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man. Jersey City is a fucking dope ass fucking city. It was, but it was shady as fuck too, man. When I first moved there, it was shady as fuck. But now it's a whole different city. It's crazy. It's like Park Slope. It's like it's ridiculous, man. Yeah. Oh, there's like Newark Street, the main strip down Jersey City. You can't even drive down it. It's just walking on the street. But so I moved to Jersey City. I moved into the H2O house, and I got the fuck out of Buffalo. I needed to, and there's a lot of heat on me for being friends with certain people, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And associated with certain people. So I got the fuck out of Buffalo, and I moved there, and I found my way in New York. I remember Toby from H2O calling me up and being like, "Yo, John Mike, what's up, man? Yo, just so you know, Toby had just moved out. He and his girlfriend at the time, Moon, now his wife, Moon, he had moved in with Moon on 17th, right by McSorley's in Manhattan.
Mhm.
And Eric took over Toby's room, and I took over Eric's room at the H2O house. And it was like Toby calling me up. He's like, "Yo, I know you're moving down here with your band." Because we had a band here called Super Fat. And Super Fat, yeah, we played one show. We played one show in Buffalo. I don't even know who the fuck we opened up for. But it was me, Eddie Malone from Zero Tolerance. It was TJ Frost from Baphomet. If you guys remember the death metal band Baphomet.
Yep.
TJ from Baphomet singing. Dante DiGiulio, who used to play for Zippy and the Pinheads. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah. Dante DiGiulio from Zippy and the Pinheads. And yeah, that's who it was. It was us. We were the band. And I don't know. We moved to New York City. And Eddie moved down with us. But Eddie was like still crazy as fuck. Where he was like drinking like he was drinking, punching holes through windows. And Eddie sliced his whole arm up. It was an H2O show. We went down at the Stone Pony in lower New Jersey, southern New Jersey. And Eddie put his hand through a window and sliced his whole arm up. And then he's like, "Fuck this, I'm out of here." And that was the end of it. So I was like, "Oh my God, that's the end of Superfat trying to move to New York City." And it's like fucked up because like we were like super pushing this band. Like we were like, we're gonna do this. It was like super awesome, man. It was a great band. And then Eddie cut his arm up, he moved back, and the singer TJ never moved down because Eddie didn't move back. And Toby calls me up and said, "Yo, man, you know the guys from fucking Burn and Gavin Man Black from Burn?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of know who he is. I know the band Burn, this and that." And he's like, "Well, yo, man, he needs a fucking bass player for his band called Pride, P-R-Y, Pride." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool, man." And I called Gavin, and I'm like, "What's up, Gavin? How you doing, man? Blah, blah," through Toby, blah, blah. And he's like, "Okay, man." He's like, "Check it out. Why don't you meet me down at the music building?" Now, the music building was 38th and 8th. 38th and 8th. That is where Madonna got her whole start out of. That's her whole start. Every band, Cro-Mags, like the list goes on and on and on. Like 38th and 8th, the music building, that's where people rehearsed. You had a lockout rehearsal studio. And he's like, "Why don't you come here and jam with us this night?" I jammed with them for the first night. Okay, cool. This sounds good. Why don't you and Jim jam for the next 30 days? I'm going to Vegas for the next month to train for kickboxing. I'm like, okay, we're gonna jam for the next 30. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm like,
sounds about right.
Stupid. But the coolest thing about that happened is that Jim and I locked the fuck in. We were drummer and bass player. We became the rhythm section. Where like Gavin, as crazy as fuck as Gavin is, dude, he would kick a garbage can down the stairs and be like, the garbage can's like doom ba doom ba doom ba doom boom boom. And then he'd write a riff. And Jim and I started working off of his riffs and like what he was doing. And then Jim and I started working off of me and him just jamming. And Gavin came back, and we put out the 4-song EP from Pry on. Oh my God!
I want to say it was like fuck, like one of those weird ones, like Eyeball or Idjit or something like that. But
yes,
I remember,
yes,
like it was one of those weird ones.
The guy's name is Charlie or Chuck.
Okay.
It was a weird label. The guy was not a record guy, but he had some money, wanted to invest in labels and stuff like that. Blah blah. Fuck, man, I forget what the guy's name was, but the guy's name was Charlie, but I forget what the label was. But that was the first Pry album, Pry, and that was an amazing album, dude, because that was like really about rhythm section, like the drums being doop 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 doop, and my bass line would be boom 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 boom, and everything became rhythmic, and it was just like we were like locked in as a machine. Man, Jim was the drummer, man. It was amazing, and you know what? And
so
Gavin and Gavin's way. And Gavin's ways is great. I gotta tell you a story real fast. I love Gavin. We still talk to this day, so it's not a bad thing whatsoever. But Gavin, in Gavin's way, I remember when I originally got married to somebody I should never have even been married to. I came back from the honeymoon. He's like, "Oh yeah, so everything's great, man. Everything's going good. Jim's got his drums going well, this and that. Oh, yeah. And we found a replacement bass player for you, and this and that. And that. I'm like, wait. What? Did you say you found somebody to replace me? He's like, oh, yeah, it's nothing big, man. Don't worry about it, man. It's cool. It's cool. Anyway, so everything's like going really great. And I'm just like, holy shit, man. Like,
that's how he kicked you out.
Well, I don't want to say he kicked me out.
Well, that's
you know what?
That's when you learn you're in Gavin's
very
bands.
Motivated, and he was very motivated in the right way to make sure that band was to be the band that he wanted that band to be.
Yeah,
and that's all I'm gonna say. Because I'm not gonna talk any shit, man. Because Gavin's a good friend of mine.
Yeah,
we still talk to this day. But of course, it was very much in a Gavin way that he said that in the middle of all of that.
He seems pretty particular, him.
So, either way.
Speaking of drummers.
So where are we going?
Speaking of drummers, we got Darren Pfeiffer on with us now, too.
Hold on. I can't hear you guys. I don't know what happened. There we go. Okay.
Darren Pfeiffer, all silent style and wearing LA gear. I don't know what's going on here.
A long time. Bye. What's up, Fight?
Chowie, what's up, buddy? You look good.
I don't look good. You look good.
Well, I know that, but I'm aware of how I look. But I'm just saying you look good.
Darren, hang on. I got Conan O'Brien. I'm going to get him so you can tackle him so you can never play on NBC again.
So that sounds like a lead-in of a story you need to tell. Being someone who doesn't watch or care about Conan O'Brien, I don't know anything about it.
Chill, mama. Fife, tell him about it.
About what happened with Goldfinger? Yeah, we were on Goldfinger. We were on Conan O'Brien, and I was dressed up as a girl. Be a stupid drummer, as drummers are often stupid. So we played the song, and at the end of the song, he came to congratulate us, and one thing led to another, and I suplexed him. I went to put him on my shoulders, but the other way around, from the front, and I lifted him up, and he fell backwards. And then I landed on him backwards, and then I picked him up by his dick. And we never played Conan ever again.
Well, yeah. Sometimes
some video somewhere.
It's on YouTube. I'm sure if you look, you'll be able to find it.
I've seen that.
We thought it was the end of our career. We thought that was it. We're broken up. We're a new band. going to get dropped. No one's going to sign us. We're not going to play shows. We were naive. Turns out it was the opposite. It had a great effect. People were talking about Goldfinger. People were watching the video. Conan O'Brien thought it was the coolest thing he'd ever seen, and he was going to take it on Leno and Letterman, and he did. So it got extra exposure. The label thought it was genius. They're like, that is amazing. Most bands go on and they play, and then they fuck off. But you went and you did something fucking stupid, and it worked.
If you search Goldfinger Conan O'Brien on YouTube, the first hit is Goldfinger drummer flips Conan.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
And the next one is Conan assaulted by Goldfinger drummer plus drummer's response, which seems
yeah, it's pretty funny. It's good stuff.
Did you ever consider making this a theme and going on every talk show and suplexing the host?
No, we did go on a couple other ones after that, but we were told that I had to be on my best behavior. And I was. I didn't do that. I didn't do that again. So I remember the best part about that, besides the thinking we were going to break up, and then the label plug thinking it was
there
right.
it is.
Yeah, there I am. So look at me trying to give him a blowjob.
There it is. Yeah.
Holy shit!
We totally suplexed.
Oh my! You can see in his face. You will never see these guys here again. Yeah, I think he tried to punch you. Like it looked like he was ready to punch you.
Yeah,
and he's not a small man.
No,
he's like 6'5", 240. He's a big guy, bigger than me, and I'm 6'2", 230. He's a monster. So after it happened, we were like, someone's got to go apologize. So you're the one that did it there, and you got to go do it. So I went into his dressing room, knocked on his door. He opened it. He's like, "Oh, hey, man, what's up?" And I go, "Hey, I just want to. You have a minute?" He goes, "Yeah, come on in." He had all these vintage guitars lined up. He was a huge guitar nerd, so he had all these guitars lined up. And I said, "I just want to say I'm sorry. And if you're going to sue us, like, I don't blame you. Like, we feel terrible." He goes, "Dude, are you kidding?" He's like, "That's the best thing that could have ever happened. I'm going to use this clip on Letterman. I'm going to use it on Letterman, Leno. I'm gonna. This is going to be huge." And I go, "So you're not mad?" He's like, "No, why would I be mad? You guys are awesome. I'm a big fan." And I go, "Oh, so we're not going to get sued?" He's like, "No, you're not going to get sued. Relax. Tell the band everything's fine." So I go back to the dressing room and I'm like, "Guys, he's stoked." They're like, "What?" "No, he's stoked. He's like, it's awesome."
Fife, I thought I heard you guys got banned from playing NBC because of that.
No, we played other NBC shows. Because we were on Universal. Universal wielded us a lot of influence. So we didn't go back on that show, but we had other NBC shows.
So can I cut in with some like real shit? Darren, can I talk real shit?
No, I would prefer you talk not real shit.
Okay. Shut the fuck up. Well, real shit is...
Yeah, go. Not,
I was gonna say it's our. This is the Nickel City soundtrack, not the Dangerous Darren show. So you can talk all the real shit you want.
Well, I don't want to talk shit with Darren if Darren doesn't want to talk real shit.
I can talk real shit, Chow, especially with you because I got nothing but love.
Does anybody remember Bell's?
Yeah, that was my first job. Was pushing carts at Bell's.
Okay, well, Bell's used to have cigarettes on stands in like a kiosk, and Fife would go in to the Bell's with a fucking starter jacket and come out with fucking 10 cartons, not packs, cartons of cigarettes all throughout his whole bag and body. Like it was ridiculous. He'd come out like the Puff Man. You'd be like, because they were down his sleeve, they were down his chest, and he would have cartons of cigarettes that he would walk out with and then sell them so he could get money to buy drums and money to put into a stereo for the Winnie, the zero tolerance fucking Winnebago. Mm-hmm. And if the zero tolerance Winnebago went down, stereo went down in the Winnie. Hey guys, I'll be back in 10 minutes. All of a sudden, Darren would come walking back with a Pioneer. You guys remember Pioneer?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He'd come back with a Pioneer fucking sound system in 10 minutes and plug it in and be like, here we go, guys. I got it. I mean, fight.
Yeah. You know, I did spend back in the day, Chow. I spent an equal amount of time practicing drums.
I know that fight.
And stealing. So I got really good at both.
It's not just you stealing; it's you playing drums and being amazing as you were.
Thanks,
but
buddy.
those moments, man, those moments are forever ingrained in my head. Childhood memories of us just being young and crazy, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those early days have a fond spot in my heart as far as cutting. As far as us cutting our teeth in the industry, like we learned how to be a band, we learned how to be members of the band, we learned how to play shows, we learned how to cultivate fans, we learned how to talk to fans, and we made a lot of mistakes. I think in Zero Tolerance, there was a lot of good vibes. But there was also a lot of bad vibes and a lot of bad blood, no pun intended. And unfortunately, Zero Tolerance never saw the amount of success I think it could have found if a few things went the right way.
And that's a thing. That's a thing that's been talked about a lot by a lot of people through the years. Is how ZT never really got like as big as like obviously people both are like, hey, ZT should have been big, but realistically, ZT should have been much bigger than they were.
Well, there were certain people that had a certain thought pattern, and
that's a creative way to word it.
Was a thought pattern that existed, and there's no changing that thought pattern, unfortunately.
And that's why I left the band. I don't know if you guys ever talked about it on the podcast about how I left the band. I mean, I don't think you and Eddie,
it wasn't talked about. If that's something you want to talk about, we're here.
I'll talk about it. I won't mention the guy's name, and I think we all know who we're talking about. But there was a Fugazi show in Upstate, and it was $5 like they always were. And we got to go see Fugazi. Let's all go see Fugazi. So we all went to see Fugazi without Belenka. Pretty sure Belenka wasn't there. So we all went, and we were so blown away by how incredibly tight Fugazi was as a band. Like they were obviously great songs, but super tight. So we were so inspired, and the show ended actually kind of early, like 8, 9. So we're like, let's go rehearse. So we went to the rehearsal space off of Main Street, got in there, started working on some riffs, and then Mike, I mentioned his name, crap. This certain someone was being just such a cunt, which he was often. And I was starting to get towards the end of my rope with his cuntiness, in his brazenness, and his dictatorshipness, and his my way to fucking highwayness, and just this overall vibe. I was like getting like to the end, like I'm not having fun in this band because of this guy. So I was doing something. I forgot I was playing something that he didn't like, and he's like, no, do it that way. Do it that way. It's my fucking band. Do it that way right now. And I go, well. Whoa, like, take it easy. Like, this is the right drum part for that riff. Yeah. I'm the drummer. You're the guitar player. He's like, do it right now, or I'll kick your ass, or I'll kick you out of the band. And he came up to the drum set right into my face and was like spitting on me, like, you fucking motherfucker! And he got really angry, and I snapped. I go, that's it. I literally was at the end of my rope on that moment, and I ripped my drums like a fucking Red Sea, and I lunged at him. Now, this particular person is half my size, so I got the best of him. I was unloading on him, and we separated, and that's it. You're out of the band. Get your fucking shit and get out of here. And I'm like, okay. Cool. I didn't want to leave. I was a little upset because I love hanging out with Eddie. I loved playing with Smokey. I wanted to continue the process of Zero Tolerance as a band and as an entity and have it move on. But it was something that wasn't going to happen with this particular guy. He was rubbing a lot of people the wrong way. And then I left. And shortly after me departing the band, I moved to Los Angeles, and the rest is history. But I mean, they got another drummer, but they couldn't quite find the magic that was.
Zero Tolerance never found its pace after you left.
Yeah, I mean, like Fuel the Fire was all cylinders firing, no pun intended. Like that was the peak. Like that wasn't going to be created again with like whoever playing drums, like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that they brought a guy in and he could play, he was fine, but the promoters knew that the band members were leaving one after another. I think Eddie left, not Eddie, but Smokey left to join a different band. I was gone. It was just this guy and Mark and Eddie, and it wasn't quite what it used to be. And it was a sinking ship.
Yeah, but even that ran its course, and Eddie and Mark did This World Rejected.
Yeah, I wanted to get out, and I moved to LA. I wanted something bigger. Either I wanted ZT to get signed to a Victory or a Fearless or whatever, and find a deal and put a record out and have our say as far as a major release, versus doing it ourselves like we have been doing with 7 inches and cassettes. But it never materialized, not because that R.B. Crenshaw or Brian Foister weren't bad managers. It just never materialized, and I was at the end of my rope. And that fight happened at the rehearsal, and that was it for me. Not only did I leave the band or didn't want to be part of the band, I didn't want to be part of Buffalo. I was like, I got to get the fuck out of this city and move to Los Angeles. And I knew a guy named Pat Finn who was jamming. Patrick Finn, who was jamming with Rivers and Weezer. He said, "Come on out and join my crew. I got a lot of great people out here in LA. You'll fit right in. You're a fantastic drummer. You'll have no problem finding a gig." And I did. I moved to LA, had no problem finding a gig, and again, the rest is history. But I look back on what happened, not the fight, but how ZT declined and then eventually broke up, and it still breaks my heart a little bit.
So before we move on to another subject, you guys want to talk about the rumored future of ZT, or is that to be unveiled at another time?
Let's unveil that at another time.
Cool. So
we can confirm your suspicion that we
can confirm that everybody's talking minus one person.
Right, we're talking, and riffs are being exchanged, and there is a significant movement for sure.
Man, we should talk more about that.
Fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people were excited to hear that. People that wouldn't expect to be Zero Tolerance fans after they listened to the Mark Belanca episode were like, are they going to get back together? Like, they do a show, I'm there. I don't care. Like, I don't care how old I am. I don't care where it is. I'm there. And it was pretty cool to like hear people react like that.
Definitely.
Yeah, it wasn't until years later, as we all went on and did our own things professionally, that you heard stories of like this legendary hardcore band out of New York called Zero Tolerance, and I thought we were cool. I thought we made an impact, but I think from the time the band broke up to most recently, there seems to have cultivated an underground cult following, not just in Buffalo, but in parts of Europe and other parts of the world, and it's quite wild, actually.
Yeah,
that our band that we took seriously, but never really achieved the ultimate goal, made that much of an impact, and that warms my heart. It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I would say a part of that is Kitzel putting out the Fuel the Fire tape on 7-inch back in 2010. That kind of like brought ZT back to the forefront a little bit. Reaper was like one of the premier labels in hardcore at the time. And then like Smokey getting on Instagram, kind of started bringing things around a little bit, and then people started digging deeper and getting into things. totally lost
It
my
probably
train of
didn't
thought.
hurt either that Chow had gone on to good things, Smokey had gone on to good things, I had gone on to good things.
Mm-hmm.
So the members of the band, some of the members of the band had gone on and continued their musical quests and had some success. And every now and again, a really good interviewer would find out that Johnny was in Zero Tolerance, or I was in Zero Tolerance, and it got brought up when people would interview me on the road. They'd do the Goldfinger questions and then go, "So tell me about Zero Tolerance, Buffalo, New York, Fuel the Fire," and I'd be like, "Whoa, what?" They're like, "Oh yeah, we read all the fanzines back then, and we were huge fans." What was the transition from Zero Tolerance to? I'm like, well, that's simple, but it got brought up every now and again, and I think that helped fuel the fire. No pun intended.
Yeah. So I got sent a DVD by John Buskey, who it's Zero Tolerance, Burn, and Super Touch from a show in Syracuse. And obviously I'm going to watch the DVD. And I mean, I know how great ZT is. I saw ZT a bunch of times, but seeing ZT on the same DVD with Burn at arguably their peak, or in the beginning when they were really making a buzz, and Super Touch at their peak. And honestly, and maybe I'm a little biased, but I don't care, ZT 100% blew Burn and Super Touch off the stage, blew them away. Like watching Burn, after watching the ZT piece, Burn and Super Touch, I was both like, damn, these are both just boring as fuck. And did we lose Chow?
I think we did.
Maybe he'll jump back in a minute.
Okay.
Send him a text.
Yeah. But yeah, like seeing like
it's that sketchy Buffalo internet. But yeah, we're talking about the live show, Chris. It was something that we took extremely serious. We talked about it all the time. Like that's why we rehearsed after that Fugazi show, because we're like, we're pretty freaking tight, but we're not Fugazi tight. Let's get in the rehearsal space and work on getting tighter. And the live show, man, it was just a free for all. We were tight, we were sharp, we had our wits to us, and I think that had to do with ZT having a good drummer and a good rhythm section, like Chow when he was in, and then Eric Smokey when he was in. Me and Smokey, we would jam on our own. We would jam all the time, just me and him. He called me and said, "What are you doing Saturday afternoon?" I'm like, "I don't know, I'm hanging out." "Why? What's up?" He's like, let's just jam the songs, me and you. I'm like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it." Yeah. So we just drum and bass, and I would rehearse on my own. He would rehearse on his own. So as long as you know, with any band situation, as long as the drums and bass are like this, that doesn't mean that the rest can fall apart. It just means that you got a really incredible bass. So when both guitars are rock solid, now the name that we shall not mention, he was a little off most of the time, but Eddie brought the incredible level of guitar musicianship. And then all eyes were on Mark anyway, because Mark was just a nut bar, and he would run around and jump around and use the crowd like a genius. So if one of the members was a little off, it didn't really matter. But we did take our live show very serious, for sure.
Yeah, like I said, this DVD, it was clear that it was like ZT was the standout bands. And I mean, I kind of remember a lot of times that's how it was in general with the show. ZT was generally the standout. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of us were like, why wasn't ZT bigger? But you kind of answered that question. So,
I mean, you take any recordings from that time from other Buffalo hardcore bands, and that Fuel the Fire cassette blows it all away.
Oh,
yeah. They sounded better. And you guys, I mean, how long was ET together? Quite a bit of time compared to the other bands.
4 years?
Yeah. So, I mean,
maybe 3 or 4 years before that scene, maybe 3, 4, 5 years before that scene started. I had joined the band. They already had a drummer. They needed a drummer. I jumped in. I knew who they were. I was familiar with who they were, and I was excited to be part of it.
Right.
And it's funny because I transitioned from playing death metal in a band called Beyond Death, which broke up and reformed as Cannibal Corpse.
Right.
So I was in the death metal scene, but I had always had my eye. I always loved punk rock. I always loved hardcore. So when I left, when Beyond Death fell apart, and then ZT came calling, I'm like, Beautiful. I love it. Let's do it.
And how did that happen? Like, how did they find them, or you find them? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because you're saying like you're from the metal scene. How did you end up in ZT?
I would go to their shows. Like I would go see them play at the River Rock or wherever they played. I went to the shows all the time in Buffalo, constantly.
Am I back?
And
Yes, you are.
yeah, hey, Chow.
Sorry.
A lot of those shows were ZT shows, and I'd meet Palenka and I'd meet Mike, and we would exchange numbers, and they knew that I existed, and they knew that I was a decent enough drummer who could jump in quickly and learn the songs quickly. And I think Mike called me and said, "Hey, our drummer's leaving. Are you in? You want to jump in?" So I went to the house and gave me songs to learn. I jumped in at the rehearsal space and jammed all 7. And they're like, "Wow, you learned all 7." I'm like, "That wasn't that hard." I could have learned 17 if you gave me 17, but you just gave me 7. They're like, "Oh, we got a bunch more." I'm like, "Send them." Like, given back then, you didn't send anything. It was like, "Here's a cassette, learn it."
Yeah.
There was no, "Hey, Venmo me," money, or SoundCloud me the songs. There was nothing like that. It was like, "Hey, well, here's the 7-inch, or here's the tape." You go home and learn them organically.
I would love to hear a recording of the Bad Blood 7-inch with you playing drums. I think it would take that record to like another level.
Yeah,
just saying.
Well, the whole thing re-recorded.
Can I hop in really fast?
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, Scott's done some stuff with doing covers. Scott Vogel.
Mm-hmm.
That has taken it to the next level. And I think that the recording quality compared to what it was is so different that no matter what, it's going to sound amazing. But everything that ZT was doing was in like 440 E-tuning. And all these bands are drop tuning, so they sound so much more brutal and heavier. But the thing about ZT was, it was so good in E440, it didn't need to be drop tuned. It didn't need to be like crazy. It was crazy enough as it was. And, with talking about, like, I missed a lot of that last segment, especially with what we were talking about, Darren, with like what's going to happen with zero tolerance in the future. But I don't know. I think everybody needs to kind of come and see what's going to happen. I think we all need to get together first. I mean, we all live apart from each other. I'm in Buffalo. Eric's in Atlanta. Darren's in LA. Mark is in
New Mexico.
Well, we shouldn't really say.
I was going to say, like, we don't know. Mark is where Mark is.
Say that.
I don't think if we say what state he's in, it's going to blow his cover.
Not New Mexico. He's in a new place. New place.
I don't
Parts
know.
unknown. He's in parts unknown.
Like, to be fair, every time I talk to him, he's somewhere else. So realistically, he could be anywhere.
All jokes aside.
Yeah, he could be. You're right. Yeah, he could be in a new state somewhere.
All jokes aside, Mark has done a serious career move for himself, for his family, for himself, and he's had life-threatening threats on him, and we don't really want to talk about where Mark is and what he does.
Yeah,
but what he does is good for our country. And Mark has always done good for people, and that is the shit, man. And I don't ever want to disclose where he lives, what he's doing, anything like that. If he wants to, he can disclose that. I'm not going to disclose that, and I don't think we should either.
Yeah, no. So that said, let's talk a little bit about how both of you guys kind of. You come from the hardcore and or metal scene, and Darren, you end up in a ska band, and
Well, let me stop
you
you
ended
there
up
real
in
quick.
like
Chris, let me stop you there real quick. We weren't a ska band. We were a band. We were a band that played ska about 1/25th of the time. I mean, just as much as the Clash did or NoFX does. If you listen to Goldfinger records, there's ska in it, sure, every now and again. But we didn't wear suits, and we didn't drive little scooters, and we didn't have haircuts.
But Charlie's in
we weren't Boston. We weren't Real Big Fish. We weren't Less Than Jake. You know, we dabbled in ska about as much as the Clash dabbled in hip hop. So when people go Goldfinger, that's ska band, I go, time out. We were a rock band.
And that's fair. Band. Like I didn't listen to Goldfinger. I only saw what was on MTV, and I feel like it was the more ska songs that they played. So I stand corrected. Like I'm no offense meant.
No, none taken at all. I just want to make it clear to everyone out there that think Goldfinger are a ska band. We are not. Real Big Fish are a ska band.
Hey, Fife.
And that's fine. I look at the history of Goldfinger and think we really ran the table. There was some ska. There was a lot of punk. Super fast punk, middle of the road punk. There was metal moments with the double bass drumming. There was a fair amount of reggae. There was straight up pop, like Husker Du, Bob Mould.
And Charlie's in your band.
You know, style pop punk. But we were a mixed bag of all kinds of stuff. It was really fun as a drummer to be in a band like that.
Yeah,
and Charlie's in your band.
Who's Charlie?
Who is Charlie?
Charlie is a guy named Charlie Paulson. He was the original member of Goldfinger, and he left the band like 5 or 6 times. And then he started a side project that had a little bit of success and had some eyes on it called Black President, right before Obama came to office. And it's a pretty decent record with some good players on it. But he's a good guy and a good fella, and he's how would you describe him, Chow? Without putting him down.
Here, brother, Roy Mayorga, the drummer for Stone Sour and the original drummer from Nausea, and like you played for Ozzy Osbourne and Sepultura. But listen here, Roy, when you hit the cymbal, this is how you got to hit the cymbal. What? Roy Mayorga, how the fuck they hit the cymbal? Get the fuck out.
Charlie had a very low voice and he talked like Hulk Hogan. Listen, brother, let me tell you something, brother. That was kind of Charlie in a nutshell. But a good bandmate, a great guitar player, and he had a look, he had a vibe. He brought something unique to the band.
Charlie was great. The thing that bums me out about Charlie is that he doesn't recognize people for what they do, and that's you, and that's Roy, that's Christian Martucci, that's Jason Christopher, like the people that he's played with over the years. It's like he's like, oh, listen, guys, listen here, brother, I can do it better than you. The reason why I'm not doing it better than you is because I'm playing guitar and you're playing drums. But I'm going to teach you how to play drums right now. Like, that's Charlie Paulson.
We never got into the drumming conflict. He always liked my playing. So thank God I didn't have to deal with that.
With the like imitation of him, correct?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Every band has one guy. Yeah.
I do like Charlie, but he's a little overbearing at times.
Yeah. He can be.
So we're going to take a second to give a shout out to our people who have been participating in the comments. Mike Lamp just jumped in. Kelly, as always. Scott Hoffert. And, of course, Larry Brent talking shit to me as he does. It's Sweeper. Sweeper's apparently pulling up a flyer from somewhere.
Michael Lamp. I haven't talked to him in a long time. Good to see him.
I don't know if we can.
How do we do that?
Yeah, Mark needs to make that happen.
That's the true
overload
or
Facebook. Hold on, let me see if I can find it here. Is he on Facebook?
I think he's participating from Facebook.
All right. I'm gonna send him an invite via Facebook Messenger.
So, Mike Lamp, your Facebook Messenger for an invite to get on. Because these live streams get wild. You don't know who's going to pop up and what we're going to talk about.
I just sent him an invite.
You missed the head.
We always have like an idea and a direct. Yeah, you did.
I think I jammed with Mike
the head in the back
a little bit. I think I was in a band with him for a spell.
If I remember right, Smokey played all of the guitar tracks on his Mouth for War demo. But I don't know if I don't remember if there were drums on it.
I don't know about guitar tracks, maybe bass tracks for sure.
Well, yeah, it was. Well, I mean, he's going to be on in a minute, so we'll ask him. But I seem to remember thinking that it was like a weird thing because somebody, I don't know where I heard that he played guitar tracks. I was like, what? That's weird. Maybe he can clear that up here in a second. Yo, don't make me a big guy. Put me back on the side.
What up,
Nobody needs to see this. Nobody needs to see all that.
Where's Ryan?
Lampy's coming on, so he said 1 second.
Lamping, so-called lamping.
Yo, we need Eric Rice on this right now. If Mike Lamp's coming on,
I don't know if Eric Rice knows how to work the internet this well.
No, he does not. I love him to death, but yeah. But I'll tell you what, man, Eric was the person who like connected all of us. Like what was going on in the hardcore scene at the time was the same thing that was going on in the hip hop scene at the time, where they didn't know where they were going, and hardcore didn't know where they were going, but it somehow crossed over with the Beastie Boys. Like when you have Murphy's Law opening up for the Beastie Boys and Public Enemy, like that's where we were. That's what we were about. It was like so much early hardcore and hip hop were crossing over like crazy, man. And I'm not talking about Run DMC and Aerosmith. I'm not talking about that bullshit. But I'm talking about real shit that was like I don't it was real shit, meaning like we were living in the streets, listening to hip hop, listening to hardcore, and somehow they melded together.
Yeah, I mean, like
in
Public
many
Enemy
ways,
had that Slayer riff in the song.
Yeah,
you know, like there was a lot of.
I mean,
you
know who that was? That was? That was a Bomb
Kerry
Squad.
King? Oh
Bomb Squad. No, not Kerry King. That was Kerry King's riff. But the Bomb Squad was Rick Rubin,
Hank Shackley.
Hank Shackley, yep. And there's a third person. Oh my God, he's leaving my mind. Right, he's leaving my. Mike Lamp's gonna know. He'll drop it on me. Hank Shackley, Rick Rubin, and oh my God. But either way, Mike will drop that on us. But either way, that was like real shit, man. They were taking real shit from hardcore and metal and taking real shit from hardcore hip hop and rap that was going on at the time in New York City, and not really LA, but New York City at the time. Mm-hmm. And they were putting that all together. God damn, what's his name? He did a lot of huge shit, and he made an icon out of himself. The fuck's his name, man?
None of us have Google.
Yeah, well, I'm on my phone, so
I feel like Mark is looking it up right now.
I am. Bomb Squad.
It's Hank Shockley, Keith Shockley, Eric Sadler, Bill Stepney. I think you're thinking of Bill Stepney.
No,
Bill
I'm not.
Stepney.
I'm not. I'm thinking of the big dude.
What
made
song
a name
are
for
you guys
himself.
talking about?
You talking about Russell Simmons?
Russell Simmons. There it is.
Yeah.
Which is Bill Stockley. Isn't that his real name?
The song
She watched Channel
Godlike,
Zero.
KMFDM?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, KMFDM, Godlike. Yeah, I think they did.
The one with the Slayer riff on the whole song?
Yeah.
It's cool as fuck. I remember hearing it back in the day and thinking it was cool as fuck.
Did either of you guys check out the KRS-One Sick of It All collab on that Sick of It All record where they re-recorded the old songs? Mike Lamp, what's up?
What's up, brothers?
Oh shit, Mike Lamp, what is up, my man? It's Johnny Chow, Sean Mark.
Beautiful, man. It's good seeing you.
Mike Lamp, brother.
What's
how are you
up,
doing?
London?
What's up, man? I'm actually in New Jersey, man.
You're in Jersey now.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
I'm living
What
up. I'm living
part
up
of
in
Jersey?
Jersey, man. Yeah.
Sorry to hear that. Yeah, New York's garbage can.
I
Good
swear
job.
I never live here. And here I am.
Hey, man, I lived in Jersey City for 13 years. Don't knock it that hard.
Oh, look, you got a trampoline. You live in the dream.
Yo, backyard. That's nice.
What
Yeah,
part of
like
Jersey
old
you in,
man.
Mike?
That's when you know you've made it.
Yeah. Trampoline and all.
Mike, what part of Jersey you in?
I'm in Montclair.
Montclair. All right. What's up,
Yeah.
Montclair?
Yeah. All right.
How have you been, Mike?
There's
Good,
ghosts.
man. Good. I just saw this. I just happened to stumble across it, and I was like, fucking hell. Got Darren here, who I haven't seen like, it must be like almost 40 years, man.
I think 1990 was the last time I saw you.
Yeah.
And we were jamming. I think we were jamming at that time.
Yeah. It's funny because I don't think most people know this. You guys probably don't even remember this, but there was a point where you guys had invited me over, and I think Mark Belenka was, I don't know if he was about to leave or what, but you guys invited me. You wanted me to be singer at one point, and ZT. And I was like, I came to the practice spot, and you guys were bugging out. And I was like, how there's no way who could ever fill Mark Belenka's shoes.
Word.
I'm like, there's no way. I was like,
Yeah.
I walked out. I was like, yeah, I love you guys, man. I'm like, no, there's no way in hell.
That was even talked about.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's good to see you. You guys made it, man. You guys have been doing some big shit.
Trying, dog.
Hey, you know, we're just trying to keep Buffalo on the map, and those guys are doing way bigger shit than us.
So what do you want to talk about now?
Your face, man. It's been a long time, man.
Yeah, it's good though, man.
So,
we're all still here, right? Another day above ground.
Yeah.
Little reference there.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was. Ooh.
Don't forget about that one.
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
Some under the radar shit talk in here.
But you don't realize how interconnected shit is, right?
Yeah.
We all played in bands together, right? We were all doing various things, and it's an amazing thing, man. Life is amazing, man. It could be fucked up, right?
And Mike, I was earlier on. You weren't on, but or maybe you were watching at the time. But I was talking about how amazing it is that Zero Tolerance has made that much of an impact on people's lives, and how the internet has helped, and how fanzines have helped. But it's kind of come full circle from where it was to a lot of time separating all of us. Then we get families and lives and careers. And then the music is released again. It's out in the world again. People are talking about it again. It gets brought up in certain interviews with myself and Chow and others. And here we are now talking about potentially putting out some new music in the coming months and years. And I think that's really cool. That whole journey from beginning to a lot of time in between to here we are today talking about potential new Zero Tolerance music. It's wild when you look at it and you step back and look at it and go, fuck, I was part of that.
That'd be
especially
amazing,
considering a year ago that not everybody was into that idea.
Everyone was into it. We all were talking. It was hard to get a certain somebody roped in. And then when he finally said, I'm in, I'm stoked, let's do it, we were like, holla fucking hallelujah.
Yeah. Dude, when he said it on the episode, like when we interviewed him and he said it, like I think we were all just like, did we fucking hear that right? Like what's happening here? Like,
I mean, to be honest with you, it was awesome to hear him go from like 0 to 1,000.
Yeah.
Like on the text that we've had back and forth, and like lyrics being sent over and ideas being sent over, and what he expects of us musically and what he's sending over to us lyrically is like, holy fucking shit, man. This is like for real. This is like really like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's it's like step back. You have to take a step back. You're like, whoa, this is really happening.
Right.
Like me and
the prospect
Eddie and I are getting into a room together on Tuesday. You know what I mean? And starting to work on ripping stuff out.
I should let you know that I've already memorized the song, and I have to lay it down in a Pro Tool session with a click track, so it's clean and the drums sound dope and fresh. And then from there, I think we should pass it around like a trading card, and everyone can add their little 2 cents to it, and until it's done, and we can do it that way. And because of the technology of 2021, it does make it easy.
So you know that I'm going to be texting fucking Smokey every day to be like, so send me a song, send me a song.
Actually, we
just
can
saying.
get Smokey on here right now, man, but he won't know how to get on here right now.
No.
You know, the technology right now, guys, is so amazing. Someone could send me, because I do these videos every week with Punk Rock Karaoke. Since the pandemic started, I've had 54 videos I've put out every single week with these high-profile singers. And we just had Will Wheaton on a couple weeks ago and doing a Dead Kennedy song. And he recorded his vocals into an iPhone. And he goes, I don't have a recording system. I don't know how to record, but I have an iPhone. I'm like, totally fine. I take the audio, I put it into Pro Tools, I make it sexy. And so if Mark doesn't have a studio, he doesn't need to have a studio. He needs to have one of these.
Right.
Vogel knows somebody that may or may not live near Mark if Mark does or does not live where some people think he lives. That he can go and record at if he needs to.
Right. But I'm just talking about the amazingness of 2021 technology. It blows my mind. And I've been living in it for a long time, and I'm never not amazed on how incredible it is to take a piece of audio that someone sends to you from around the world and fly it into a program like Logic or Pro Tools, and if you massage it, you know what you're doing. You can make it sound like it was recorded in a really professional studio. It's fucking mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I just texted Smokey. We'll see what happens.
But you remember Chow and you remember Mike back in the day. It wasn't that way. If you wanted a recording, you had to get a studio, and you had to rehearse your balls off so you didn't waste your time.
Well, Fife, to be honest with you, I want to ask Mike this question. Eric and I were talking the other day, and we were like talking about the Jefe Supremo.
Jefe Supremo, yeah,
which is truly the overlord shit.
Absolutely.
If Mike actually has that still, if anybody's got that, it's you, Mike.
Oh man, I'll dig for it, but honestly, I may have it. Yeah, and talk about like that you can record. We're on the phone right now, right? We're doing this whole webcast.
Yeah.
To Darren's point, like that we seriously could do like any of this just on our phone. And back in the day, like Jefe Supremo, Overlord, which we never got to play out, which was the
I know, which is a bummer.
But we played at my house, right? And we recorded on a 4-track, a shitty 4-track. It was like a Ross 4x4 4-track, and I had a Casio electronic drum set.
So crazy.
And it sounded so ridiculous. If I can find that, it's amazing. But yeah, to this day, man, the only song I remember is Hey, Faye, Supremo. That's beautiful, man.
So if you find this, you need to send me a copy, just saying.
Oh, I'll find it, man. Actually, yeah, I would go downstairs, but what wifey is down there? It's probably a mess. So I'll dig it up, man. I'll find it.
Mike, you got to find that if you got it, man.
God willing, I'll find it, man.
And while you find any of that Project C stuff too,
Yeah, for sure.
I got all the Project C stuff. The problem is, man, I probably get arrested if I put the Project C stuff out.
No, you just send it to us. You don't have to put it out. You just send it to us.
Dude, that was, man, that was dangerous stuff, man. I was tripping back in the day. If anyone remembers, like,
you weren't tripping, you were for real.
It was just insane, man. But yeah, I do have that. That I have. Mouth for War stuff I have.
Mouth for War stuff I have. But the Project C stuff I need. Yeah. So speaking of Mouth for War, I seem to recall Eric Rice played the guitars on it, but Chow was telling me that probably wasn't the case.
Nah, it was all sampled. It was I mean the one show I did as Mouth for War, Pat Finn was actually a DJ for me. But that's probably the closest I got anyone from the Buffalo hardcore scene actually like playing anything.
That was in Lockport, right? It was the
good memory. Man.
What is it? Bill Page would know. I don't think it was a Summer's Place, maybe.
I can't remember at all. I remember doing it like it was yesterday, but I don't remember.
Yeah, because I think Bill Page set it up, and the guy who owned the club was like, that guy's setting up a record player. What's going on here? Like, what is this? like you were like Bill Page is trying to scam him or something. Like it was gonna be like a dance party or something.
Yeah, it was. What shook me was, we did the Mouth for War thing, right? Pat and I were just bugging out, and probably the only thing I remember is we did Public Enemy. We did some Public Enemy cover. My 98 Oldsmobile.
My 98.
We did my 98, but what I remember, what blew me away is Common Ground. They were so crispy clean, man. They had all the right stuff. They had like a mic compression and all this, and they came out like my stuff was just all over the place, man. They came off amazing.
They may have had nice stuff, but they weren't Mouth for War.
No, but they didn't have to be, man. They were doing their thing. Pumice, I love Pumice to death, man. They were my boys, man, and they had their own message, man. They were more on that Beastie Boys vibe.
Right on.
But yeah, the Heyfae, the Overlord stuff. Actually, John Mark, who else was in the band? Rob.
He was from Buff State. He was from Long Island.
That's right.
But he was in Buffalo because he was going to school at Buff State.
Yeah. That's too bad we never played, man. I'm gonna find that stuff. It has to be here. I keep everything.
And Mike, I hope you find that. Hey, Faye, Supremo. That was amazing.
How crappy the drums sound, man. The drums sound like tin cans.
Nah, man, it was.
Well,
great.
you send it to Darren and he play over it.
It was amazing.
I play over it. I'll remix it for you.
That's what we got to do, man. Bring all that stuff back.
If you had the 4-track tape, I could pull the audio off it.
All right, I'm gonna find it. That's something, Mike. I don't think you would have thrown away.
No, we can pencil in Overlord for NCS Fest.
Yeah, I'd be up for it, man. I'm up for it. I can't wait to get out of this bloody pandemic. So,
yeah.
Heard that.
Yeah.
Cool.
So where are we going now?
And then the wall.
Well, I gotta take this time to bow out and thank you for having me on.
Yes, appreciate
I gotta go do my Sunday duty, but
love you, Fife Diggity.
Thanks for having me on. It was a pleasure to bring up these amazing memories about zero tolerance and to talk about the future, which I believe is an optimistic one with everyone on board. Everyone's really excited about creating some new vibes and some new tunes and now the ease of not only recording, but also the ease of putting it out. Like I have my own record label through Sony. I can put something up and the next day it's on all the platforms worldwide. So we can market it ourselves. We can make videos. We can do our own PR. It's such an amazing world right now for artists, and I'm really excited about ZT. Really excited.
So is that
everyone is, and when things get a little more official, we definitely want to do a full episode with everyone that comprises ZT in this moment. So you'll definitely be back.
Oh yeah, getting a show with John Mark and Blanca and me and Eddie and Rice would be an epic one. Let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
It will be epic.
Yeah, we'll definitely make it happen at some point.
It'll be fun. But thank you,
After
boys.
we,
Thanks for having me
teach,
on. Good to see you, Mike.
Smoke
Good to
me
see
how
you,
to use the
Cal.
internet.
Thanks for having
Thanks
me
for
on,
coming on.
Chris.
You, bro.
I'll catch you guys
Love
later.
you, Fife.
Love you too, pal.
Love you,
See you,
Fife.
Mike.
Thank you for coming on. Woo.
So, guys,
So, Alex, you have
Is Mike Mack still
you
on
have
here?
a fan in the comments.
yeah, I saw,
Yeah,
and I
that's
don't
all.
have any earthly fucking idea what that is. I have not a single fucking clue who that person is.
You know who it is.
I don't.
I mean, he knows you.
Apparently.
Apparently, it was a $50 well spent.
Listen,
Well, hey,
you can
can
tell
I
that's
ask,
fake because I do that shit for free.
Is Mike Lane still on here?
He is still here.
Yeah.
Mike,
Yeah, bro.
man, dude, you are the one. You are the catalyst of a lot of stuff that was forward thinking. Forward thinking meaning outside of hardcore, involving hip hop with hardcore that was happening at the time
Yeah.
with like KRS-One and Sick of It All. But for Buffalo, you were the one that was actually making that movement happen. And that shit should be talked about too.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, man. Let's talk about it.
Chris and I have sort of talked about this a little bit before, but I mean, you know what? It's funny, man, because I was thinking when I was watching some of the previous podcasts, and I was thinking of bringing back all these memories and all the connections, right? Because I was friends with Eric, and that's how I got to know you,
Yep.
John Mark, and everyone from ZT and that. And
How did you know Eric? Can I ask you that? How did you know Eric?
from Scrivo. So Chris Scrivo. And I.
Pescado.
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 And I went to high school together. And that's how I met Eric. And we used to go, Chris and I would go over to Eric's house, and Eric's grandfather was a drummer. And I was playing drums for a long time. And I had my drums at Chris Scrivo's house. And but we would go over to Eric's, and Eric's grandfather had a drum set there, in Eric's mom's house, and then we would mess around and make stupid stuff. But yeah, that's how I knew Eric, and that's how I ended up knowing you, and everyone else.
Yeah,
and
man.
It was from that, when I was living on West Ferry, when you came over and we started doing the Overlord stuff.
Yep.
And I was doing the hip hop stuff at the time, and it was like, the guys from Project C, we were like, we didn't know what the hell we were doing, and there was no hip hop scene in Buffalo at all.
Nothing at the time, for sure, 100%.
And so the hardcore scene, to me, right, I grew up on heavy metal, and later got into hip hop. But heavy metal and hip hop are the same thing, right? They're really, heavy metal is white kids, hip hop, and hip hop is black kids heavy metal. It's all the same, man.
Yeah. That's why it melded together so well.
Absolutely, man, and because it's all about, I'm not going to get into some economic philosophies and that, but that poverty driven, right, that anger and angst, and it went well. And I was fortunate that the guys, Akil and Askia and Craig, the DJ, actually Craig in particular, Craig the DJ, when we would do stuff, he was always like, he would cut and rush Tom Sawyer. He wasn't a typical DJ, and so like we were always doing stuff like that. And when I was like, "Yo, we're gonna do these shows," and the hardcore scene, we got invited. They were like,
Right.
"Yeah, why not?" And they loved it.
Yeah.
But it was, it was just random, right? And the thing is, like at the time, it's funny because I wasn't really into hardcore, but like when I heard the Cro-Mags. Oh God!
Age of Quarrel.
Yes, Age of Quarrel, exactly. But that opening track, man, is how I would always pick up the project. Oh my God, dude, I like to go ballistic to that.
Yeah.
And it was right. And Public Enemy, I mean, I was I was following, to be straight up, man. I mean, I was following my heroes, which were like Public Enemy, right, who sampled Slayer, and and then they did stuff with Anthrax and stuff like that. But to me, it just made sense, right? It's like, how do we do this, right? How do we get the message, what the message we were trying to do right, which was anti-racism, poverty, and especially, it was really about just what was going on, the positiveness in hip hop and that. But I mean, then you get someone like Rage Against the Machine, right, that took it to the level that really it should have, that it was ultimately going to be taken to, right? That combination of political hip hop with, the metal, man, and that's where Project C could have been, man. But you get caught up in shit. You get caught up in shit, but it's all
absolutely, homie.
Yeah. Yeah, you man. I mean,
so I don't know if this is going to play, but I'm going to
don't talk about me, man. Let me shut up. Let's talk about you.
Can you hear it?
Yes, baby.
This is Mouth for War.
Oh my God! Wow, man. Yeah, I myself haven't even heard that in a long time. I have to say that was probably the best production I ever did. That's as good as it got, man.
Yeah, it's funny because your voice is exactly the same speaking, and on that, it's exactly the same.
Yeah, it depends. You get me off. I lived in London for 10 years, man. You'll hear the bloody, the effing hell, and you'll start hearing the more British side of me. You get me around British people.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike, it's good to see your face.
So
good to see you.
I haven't seen you in goddamn.
Yeah, man. Thanks for jumping in.
30, 40 years, maybe.
It's been a while, man. It's New York. You were probably working at pianos or something.
In New York, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Chris and I, it's probably like the early 2000s, because we were doing, Chris and I was doing the Enigmatic stuff, which you guys haven't heard at all, right? So that was, look up, I'll text you, look up Enigmatic. That's we started getting back into some metal stuff. But
I remember that. Actually.
Yeah. We wanted you to play bass on it, man. You wouldn't budge, man. You were like, I'm not going there.
Who'd you guys do that with?
That was just Chris and I.
Just you and Chris?
Yeah. All right. I'll text you guys that, because that was some interesting stuff. But we were trying to get John Mark in that band, and we couldn't for the life of us. I think you were. What was the band with the girl singer?
Oh, that was Echo 3.
What was it?
Echo 3.
Echo 3. Yeah.
Out of New York.
Yeah. I want to say it was somewhere there, or like whatever band.
I think it was somewhere in between then and Cavalera Conspiracy.
Yeah, you were. Yeah. You weren't there yet.
With Cavalera Conspiracy, I was way too busy, man.
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, because that makes sense why you wouldn't do it, right? That's the good shit. That's the real shit.
Hey, man, you know what's the real shit? Is everything that we've done.
That's right.
That's real shit.
Yeah. It's true. People don't think about that. You got to appreciate all that stuff you did, because it builds, who you are ultimately.
Yeah, totally.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
So, Chow, how did you end up in Cavalera Conspiracy? Like, how did that come about?
Hey, Mike, you remember Justin Hirschman?
Of course. I actually bumped into him recently. I think he lives in Montclair again. Yep.
Yeah, he lives in Montclair. Yeah, you're right. Yep. So Justin Hirschman is a good friend of ours.
Yeah, no joke.
That he's a booking agent. He books Nas, he books Soulfly, he books all these different bands. Mm-hmm. And so Justin hit me up. He's like, "Yo, man, this band Soulfly that I booked, like, you remember Sepultura? And I'm like, yeah. Life-changing Sepultura? Yes. Of course I remember Sepultura. Well, he's like, do you remember how Max broke apart and did Soulfly and his brother is doing his own thing over the years? Well, they're getting back together doing this thing called Cavalera Conspiracy. Do you want an audition? I can get you an audition. I'm like, all right, man. Yo, I'm totally down. You can give me an audition in that? That's awesome. I was playing in Fireball Ministry at the time, which has Jim Rhoda, Reverend Jim. Reverend Jim's the shit, man. And shout out to you, Jim. He's probably listening right now, and if he is, man, I hope he understands. But I pretty much left Fireball Ministry. And I sent my picture and a resume, so to say, to Gloria Cavalera, and Gloria's Max's wife, and also Max's, like, you know, everything for Max. She's a manager. She's Max's wife. Anything goes to her. I mean, you don't talk to Max on the phone because Max does not have a cell phone. It's all through Glow. Actually, you know what a funny story is, but a cool story, is I would say like maybe 5 years ago when I was heavily touring with Cavalera Conspiracy, Igor came out and said, hey, yo, Max, my brother, literally his brother, check this out. You don't have to bring that big ass thing of all these CDs out with you. I have this thing called an iPod, and I can put it all on an iPod. And Max is like, for real? And he's like, yeah. And he loaded all of his shit on that iPod. Because, you know what? Because Max, it's funny, and I joke about it. As much of it as it is as a joke, it's for real. But, like, Max is just a very simplistic type person, man. He doesn't need to have all these bells and whistles and this and that. But when he realized that he could put all that shit on an iPod and carry an iPod instead of all of those fucking CDs, he was like so fucking happy.
It's like life-changing.
Life-changing for him. It was crazy because Max is a very simple person. He just makes music and tours. That's his shit.
Yeah.
Dude. He does not have a cell phone. He doesn't have any of that shit. So basically, when I got the gig with Cavalera Conspiracy, Max calls me up. He's like, is this Johnny Chow? I'm like, yeah, hey, man, what's up, man? He's like, so you want to play in the Cavalera Conspiracy? And I'm like, yeah, man. He's like, okay, man, you have a good look. I like your look. I think you got some good chops. And Gloria is going to send you over some music. And sure enough, man, a week later, I got a CD in the mail. A CD, a compact disc in the mail. And it was a song, dude. I had to learn like 30 motherfucking songs in like literally 5-day period. And then I flew out to Spain. Like it was crazy. I didn't meet with them. I didn't rehearse with them. Nothing like that. All of a sudden, I'm in Spain rehearsing with them for 2 hours in this weird, like, rehearsal studio. So I rehearsed with them for 2 hours, went through the set once, and then I remember the next day we're going on stage. Max turns around, you got this? And I'm like, I sure as fuck hope so. I'm about to go on stage with it. You know what I mean? He's like, holy shit. Yes, I got this. And I'll tell you what, when we got to the last song, which was the encore song, it was Roots. We played the Electric Weekend Festival in Madrid, Spain. Oh my God. It was 30 to 40,000 people there. And the waves of people being lifted up and moved. When we were playing Roots, I looked back at my tech, and he's like, and it's this guy, Eddie Mead, he's like, fuck yeah, Johnny, this is what it's all about, motherfucker. He was like so pumped. He was so pumped, dude. And I was just like, and I turned back around and I look at the crowd. The crowd literally being lifted up in waves. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, that was my first massive experience. First huge festival. Like, oh my God, this is kind of crazy. Like, that was my first experience. And that's how I got into Cavalera Conspiracy, basically through Justin Hirschman. And I took it in a roundabout way. But
that was a great story, though. Like, that was great.
Oh my God. And you know what? Some great tour stories. Okay. So like we'd be at a festival setting, okay, and there'd be someone. So Mark Rizzo, who I don't know if you guys know who Mark Rizzo is. Mark Rizzo is a guitarist from Soulfly, done many other projects. He's a hardcore kid from New Jersey. And he's been Soulfly guitarist for I don't know how many years, forever, basically. But like me and Mark, we always go out. And so if we're playing like some whatever festival, we always go out in the market so we can look for albums and cool T-shirts and like just nobody recognizes us. They don't care about us. They care about Max, right? And then all of a sudden, some kid comes up and is like, "Oh my God, Mark Rizzo, the most famous guitar player ever in the world. Oh my God, Mark Rizzo, take me to Max." It's like they forget about how amazing Marcus is a guitar player in 2 seconds. Take me to Max. And then the one time after I've seen Mark see that, oh my God, Mark Rizzo, take me to Max so many times. And he's like, oh, yeah, I can't do that, man. Max is on the bus. I can't do that. And the one time Mark was like, oh yeah, okay, I'll take you to Max. Come on, come with me. And we were walking back to the bus anyways. And we start walking back towards the bus. And then we get to the gate point where if you are not a performer, you cannot go beyond the gate. And so he's like, wait right here, bro. I'll bring Max right back. And then we go on the bus. And I'm like, what the fuck? Mark, you didn't bring Max out? All of a sudden, Mark starts taking off his shoes, start taking off his fucking socks. He's taking off his shirt. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? He said, I'm taking a nap, man. I'm like, what about homeboy that's back at the gate? Oh, yeah, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. He's like, I get that every fucking time in my life. That guy can sit there for 5 hours. I don't give a fuck. And it was like the most ridiculous shit. He like totally pumped the dude up. Yeah, bro, I'll take you to Max for sure. This is what my life is about. I'm going to take you to Max right now. And left him hanging at the gate.
Nice.
I mean, that's kind of jive, but kind of.
I wonder how long that kid hung out there.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't go out that exit the rest of the day.
Aw.
Well, show.
Yeah,
But that was my introduction to Cavalera Conspiracy. But my first introduction to real big time, quote unquote, big time touring, I was playing in Maximum Penalty at the time out of New York City, New York hardcore band. Mm-hmm. We had done a couple European tours. I don't think we did any U.S. tours. We played a bunch of U.S. dates in New York. But again, my friend Justin Hirschman, our friend Justin Hirschman, who was like a big time booking agent, like working for all these bands. And he's like, hey, dude, there's this gig called Systematic. They're out of like the Bay Area of San Francisco. They have an album that they're about to record that's going to come out on whatever Note Records, that is Lars Ulrich's album label or whatever, from Metallica, the drummer from Metallica. Like, it was through Elektra Records, their first album. And my first big gig, my first big break was this Systematic, man. And that was, I went out there and I flew out to LA living in New York City. I flew out to LA on my own dime. I go in the room, and there's this guy, Paul, the drummer, Paul. So I'm not even tell you who he is yet. So this guy, Paul, everybody's calling him Paul, right? And he's got shorter hair. And so me and the drummer are just talking. It's like all about like locking up, being the rhythm section. As I'm setting myself up, I'm pulling my bass out, I'm plugging it in. He's like, it's all about the rhythm section, drums and bass. And they're calling him Paul. And I'm like, yeah, Paul. And then right before, like literally right before we started jamming, somebody calls out, yeah, Bo Steph, I want you to like, it was either Tim or Adam, the two guitarists, one of them was a singer as well. Bo Steph, like, let's do Deep Plunge Bleed or whatever. I'm like, Bo Steph. I'm like, oh my God. So right before I start playing the first song I'm jamming with this band with, I realized Paul Bostaph. Paul Bostaph, he's the drummer from Violence. He's the drummer from Forbidden. He's the drummer from fucking Slayer. This is Paul fucking Bostaph I'm playing with. He just has a short haircut. Holy shit. And I start jamming, doing the audition, and luckily I was able to get through it. But holy fuck, man. I started jamming with Paul Bostaph. I'm coming from Maximum Penalty, a hardcore band, playing hardcore shows, going over and doing smaller European festivals and stuff like that. And now I'm playing with Paul Bostaph from fucking Forbidden and fucking Slayer. It was a crazy thing for me, man. And as I was realizing playing that song, like, holy shit, this is where it gets to be next level. That's where it became next level for me. I got the gig with the band, and this was my first like bus tour. It was a shitty bus. We were all inhaling fumes, and like the bus was we called it the Blue Whale. It was a 1969 whatever. Like, it was a horrible bus, but it was my first bus tour. It's my first taste of getting in a bus and doing it outside of like me driving at night for 4 hours, and then you.
Uh-oh, you muted.
So it was a cool thing, man. It was a cool thing to be able to be in this audition room with this guy Paul Bostaph, and I wound up getting the gig. And
very cool.
Paul and I became tight friends. But that was my first big gig, like quote unquote big gig.
Nice.
Where I was not
and where like
in a van, I was on a tour bus. Shitty tour bus or not?
A tour bus is a tour bus.
But was it better than touring with ZT?
Yeah. Winnie was great. But she had her days. Her days were numbered.
So how did you
but how many hardcore bands at that time were rolling around in a Winnebago?
True.
Oh wow. Well, there were probably many hardcore bands rolling around at the time in a Winnebago. But we just didn't know it because we were just Buffalo kids, man. You know, everything that's going on right now with like West Side Gun, Buffalo Kids. I'm like, oh my God. Like, you missed your mark, dude. You missed your mark because like how much more Buffalo Kids are Buffalo Kids than we are right now.
Yeah.
We're Buffalo Kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're the ones that.
I mean, that's kind of like the genius of it. Like,
it is.
Yeah, but like that's the genius of like West Side Gun and them being like, you know, like that whole Buffalo Kids thing. That's like everybody kind of like ageless. Like, we're Buffalo Kids. They're Buffalo Kids. The next generation are Buffalo Kids. Our parents were Buffalo Kids.
Yeah.
You know, like it's so simple and it's genius.
And you know what? I hate when people are like, oh, yeah, this rapper guy has a place in the mall that creates a lot of traffic. You know what, man? He's representing Buffalo. You know what? Someone on his fucking label just got nominated for a Grammy, and all he's talking about is Buffalo. the fuck is wrong with you? He supports Buffalo.
Yeah.
Why are you so against him?
Yeah.
Let him support Buffalo.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean,
And like, not only that, those guys do it all themselves.
Did we lose something? Is Chris gone?
That's the way they should. That's
Did I lose you?
the real deal about it. But people from Buffalo, right? We are
Still there?
I'm there.
Yeah.
A little broken, but I'm here.
But it's what it is, right? People from Buffalo. I was going to say about John Mark that first of all, the reason, dude, you always got your shit. Besides being, phenomenal bass player, is because you are a fucking humble, down to earth dude, right? And people from Buffalo are like that.
I appreciate that, Mike. Thank you, man. I mean, I'm not a bass player. I just get by.
It is, but it's it, man. And people. Buffalo's going to do a lot. Like all those kids, speaking of West Side Gun and on all of them, it's funny. Actually, I wish my brother was here because he knows that whole side of things, right?
Right.
Sort of funny.
Mark, right?
Yeah. Mark, my younger brother Mark, he's in Atlanta, but he knows all those guys. And he grew up with them. And, it's funny because I felt, I totally moved away from hip hop, right? And got into grunge and all that. I was all over the place musically, right? And but all those kids, like from you guys probably know Cochise.
Cochise.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember Cochise like a motherfucker.
Yeah. So Cochise, right, would produce a lot of stuff, but all those guys that ultimately, right, it built from there, and it was. They stick to their scene, right? They're just true to what they are and what their scene is. And I think that's the same thing for Buffalo hardcore. And it's the reason why it's just like, people appreciate that, right? We're not like, I don't know. I don't want to say something. I was about to diss New York in a way, but like Buffalo people are straight up, right? They're good people. They're down to earth people. And people appreciate that, man, when they're going out there. So you're doing stuff musically, artistically in that, I think Buffalo's, they're doing their thing. That's a beautiful thing, man. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Mike, you're right about that, man. Whenever I go out, it doesn't matter if I'm in Europe or Southeast Asia or US. When I tell them I'm from Buffalo, they're like, "Oh, yo, Buffalo, for real, man." Like, people have this almost infinitive, like, love for Buffalo. And it's not like everybody thinks, like, wide right or like long winters.
No goal.
Yeah, no goal. Like, we were for a minute, right? But now Buffalo's turned into a place that is like, "Oh, you're from Buffalo? Yo, man, that place is for real." Yeah. Like, I have friends that come and visit from Japan, from fucking even Ohio, like Columbus, Ohio, like stupid small towns to big fucking like Tokyo, Japan, like, and they're like, "Oh shit, Buffalo's for real, man. Buffalo's on fire. Buffalo's got some cool shit, man." And you know what, man? It does have some cool shit. And you know what keeps it really cool is the fact that the art always stays real. The art has always stayed real from when we were not a cool place to visit, from when we are a cool place to visit. Like right now, like Gunn, man, he's got Buffalo in a prime time, dude. Bills are winning. It's like we're prospering downtown and like shit's being built everywhere. But when we were kids, it was Buffalo was losing. Mm-hmm. And like, we got a shitty town, but we made a mark on the map. That's why bands like Sick of It All would take a band like Zero Tolerance out on the road from Buffalo. They're like, "Oh, these motherfuckers are for real." And like when Zero Tolerance would go out with Outface, right? Sure. How come Sick of It All didn't take Outface under their wings?
Right.
The reason why is because they already took Buffalo under their wings, and they were like, "Holy shit, this is some for real shit. These motherfuckers have life, integrity, and fucking viability, man." And that's what was awesome about the Buffalo hardcore scene, man, is we always got the cool shows, man. We were very fortunate because when a band would head out on tour from New York, they would go Albany, Syracuse, Buffalo, Erie. They do that 4-day run. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They do that 4-day run, and we always got it because we were the second or third show out from where they were fucking playing. And we got everybody from Youth of Today, Judge, Civ, Gorilla Biscuits. The list goes on. Like, beyond, beyond any other band guys.
Yeah, I mean, even like Bad Brains, Verbal Assault, like everything.
My God.
And it was always like
how
weekends
about
too.
HR taping his hand down to the desk, to the school kid desk.
I was there.
At UB. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
And Verbal Assault. Like, I used to write fucking. I shouldn't say I used to. I wrote a letter to Homeboy from Verbal Assault. I figured his name right now. It's leaving me. But he actually hand wrote me a letter back. Like, that's crazy, man. What kind of fucking shit is that, man? None of that happens right now. It's all social media. It's all liking this and liking that. And I'm going to double click on this so I can get a heart up on that. And you know what I mean? It's just like, it's stupid, man. We had to go out and search out music. And the way you searched out music was going to a hardcore show, and you had a fanzine sitting on a table that you might have had to pay $2 for, possibly, if it wasn't given to you. And that's how you heard about this band or that band. Or like, you know, it's like now it's all at your fingertips. It's all like, you don't have to go and do anything for it. You don't have to earn your way there. We had to earn our way there. We had to go to the show. We had to enjoy the music. We had to get kicked in the fucking head by a combat boot from somebody stage diving. Or stage dive ourselves on somebody. And we had to pick up that Maximum Rock and Roll or that fucking stupid fucking fanzine that was the best thing in the world. Because that stupid fucking fanzine was the best thing in the world. That was our communication. Definitely. That was our networking. That was our YouTubes. That was our fucking Instagram, Twitter, whatever the fuck you want to call it, man.
Yeah.
But, and I don't mean to say stupid fucking fanzines. Those stupid fucking fanzines are what made us, man. They're not stupid fucking fanzines. But I'm just saying, like, those fanzines are what made us. Literally, what made us. You go to the fucking merch table and you find out what's new and what's cool and what's hip.
Yeah. Man, totally. Like going through the record reviews, like checking out to see like what people have to say about stuff and see if it's something you're into. Reading whatever dumb thing we would all write about in our stupid zines. Like, those were good times when zines were like $1.50 or $2 and not like $10 for 5 pieces of paper.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, blowing through every penny that you had, just blindly buying shit off of thank you lists.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to Home of the Hits and hoping that the new Rev record was there.
Fuck, man.
Buying things based solely on what font was used on the cover.
That's great.
Yeah.
You know what's a bummer? I don't know if any of you guys have seen what's happened to Elmwood lately, but where it's at,
it's unrecognizable from my mouth.
It's unrecognizable.
Like I actually, the last time I was in Buffalo on Elmwood, I got lost because I didn't recognize anything. I was like, wait, where am I? And I had to like take a minute to like re-coordinate where I was. And I was by
That's how it is now.
Where the Wilson Farms, where the little skate park thing was next to that shop that was like kind of.
That's been disassembled.
You know what I'm talking about?
Urban Surfer there or whatever it was.
Yeah. Like I was totally like discombobulated. I had no idea where I was.
Yeah.
Been disassembled for many years, but the fact that like now where Home of the Hits used to set, like so many years ago, like this is where our youth was, is now a fucking skyrise. It's crazy. It's fucked up. But you know what it is, man? You know, shit moves on. CBGB. Look what CBGB's is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit moves on. Hold it in your heart. You can go and visit some cool shit from that. Allen Burger Venture has that Pepsi machine in the restaurant.
Oh shit.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That
That's
old
cool.
Pepsi machine? Come on, you guys don't remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, from Home of the Hits?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
If you're facing
ABV.
If you're facing out the main door, it's on the right next to the door.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. That's awesome.
And so if you go to ABV, man, Mike has that there. Mike Schatzel like made sure that he grabbed that before that shit got snatched up. Because that's a big part of his life too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark's a big burger guy, so he'll probably be there shortly.
I know one of the he's like packing up right now. All right.
Dude, you gotta try the
I know one of the record stores has
I'm sorry.
What's that?
I was gonna
No,
say,
go ahead.
If you go to ABV, you gotta have the number 5, which is a Jiffy burger, which is amazing. It's grass-fed beef with Jiffy peanut butter, bacon, jalapenos, and I forget what cheese. I think it might be American cheese, maybe. It's to die for. Gotta have that.
Mark, are you vegetarian?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am.
Well,
I was going to say, because you're going to have to let me know how that is, because that's interesting something.
I've done the research, Chris, and it's real fucking good.
Yeah, the chickpea.
Derek, are you vegetarian?
I'm vegan.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
You're speaking to an audience of one, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going to have to try this peanut butter on an Impossible Burger and see if I can replicate this.
Telling you.
All right. So, what do you think we should wrap this up?
Yeah, it's been like 2.5 hours plus.
Yeah,
we're pretty deep.
Yeah, I think it's a good place to wrap it up. Thank you, dude. Seriously, thank you for coming on and doing this.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
It was great. It was awesome. The stories were fantastic.
We would definitely love to have you come back on at some point.
Yeah.
Sure.
So like,
I have many more stories.
Oh yeah, and we have other bands we didn't even touch on. Like, just because I'm a huge Maximum Penalty nerd, I could spend an hour talking about Maximum Penalty.
Oh shit, MP,
dude. That like when Ralph Sheehan brought the demo back.
What's up, Jimmy?
Yeah, when he brought the demo back in '89, that was like the only thing I listened to, or one of the only things I listened to for like 2 years.
Well, and the late great Rich McLaughlin from Breakdown and Maximum Penalty,
the nicest man in the world.
I spent many years with that man on the road and stuff. Like, unbelievable. It's a bummer.
Yeah, totally. Particularly like here, like, you know, you feel it.
Yeah, 100.
And Lamp, thanks for coming on and sharing some of what you got, and hopefully that Overlord demo will be popping up sometime soon.
Yeah. I'm going
and
right
hopefully
down.
some Project C will be hitting my emails.
Yes, definitely. No, thanks for inviting me, bro.
Yeah, man, we're definitely going to have you on for an episode too, because we definitely want to talk about like Project C and Mouth for War.
I'm there.
And man. What was going on in Buffalo hip hop at the time, which really wasn't even much. Like, even when we talked to Cool Taj, he really didn't have anything from that time, and he's like mid to late 40s.
Yeah, I'm gonna piece that together. I was trying, when I was speaking earlier, I was trying to think, like, connect the people, because we know all those kids, right?
Yeah.
And but like I've been away for so long. I was like you when you mentioned Cool Taj, I was like, I know my brother knew him immediately, and talks to him all the time. And I was like, you know, when I left Buffalo, like I was out of Buffalo.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's definitely talk about that. But I'll piece that together because it's Buffalo's like a small, tight community, and people don't realize it, the connections, and that's why, like I was throwing in. It's interesting because, you know, like I knew Eric Rice, and that's how I knew John Mark, and then from John Mark, like, you know, ended up doing stuff. I know you guys don't want to go there, but like Another Day Above Ground, and then you know, I got connections with Pat Finn. We did some stuff called Winkler. And you know, and Pat Finn was one of the bass players in ZT or was it New Balance?
It was both.
Yeah.
It was both.
Yeah.
And Pat Finn has connection to Weezer.
Weezer, exactly, right.
So
I got good story about that. So
do you guys still talk to Pat Finn?
Absolutely.
Because
he'd be a good person to have on sometime.
He'd be
100%. He would do it in a second.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll try to make that happen. We'll talk to you about that. Yeah. Mark, you want to ask your question you ask at the end of every episode?
Yes. Johnny, who would you want us to have on this podcast in the future?
Oh, that's a good question. Wow. Well, Mike Lamp is one of them. Definitely. I mean, Eric and I were talking about this before. Like, I'm like, man, like, what do we talk about? Who do we talk about? And he's like, yo, just big up people from our past. And Mike Lamp is one of those people. I would love to have an episode with Mike Lamp.
Oh, it's happening. It's definitely happening.
It's happening.
No, man, we got. What about like? Come on, well, you already had Scott Vogel on, but like, what about Discontent?
We're in talks.
Oh, good. Who's that? Tom Hardwick. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about Tom. I don't know. Like, we've been talking to Phil Popilski.
Phil. Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know how to get a hold of Tom Hardwick.
Phil can. I know Phil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys talked to any of the
Trainwreck, bro?
Trainwreck, Bobby Brown.
Bobby Brown, man. I recorded them, man. I recorded them. I recorded Snapcase. I recorded
Bobby
Snapcase
Brown
before they were Snapcase.
Yeah. If you guys need to talk to Bobby Brown, I got his number.
Yeah. Let's we'll talk about that too when we're done here.
That motherfucker's an amazing human being. He just came through my place the other, probably 6 months ago. But he's such a fucking amazing human being and what he's doing. And you know what? Him talking you through the hardcore scene into what he's doing right now would be amazing.
Definitely.
Awesome. All right. So we'll wrap it up. And thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks to anybody who took the time to watch. It's also good.
Yeah, also, really fast. Can I say this?
Yeah.
Please have Brian Foister on.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's definitely 100%.
Brian is the master. He's the godfather, man.
Yes.
Yeah, that's happening. He just moved. Once he's settled, we're gonna have him on.
Okay, please do, because he is the godfather. He has the knowledge.
Yeah. I don't know. You guys, Mike and Johnny, you guys both know Ralph Sheehan, yeah?
Of course. And I'm praying for him.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if you haven't talked to him recently, reach out to him. You know what's going on.
I do.
It's unfortunate, but we're behind you 100%.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you. It means everything to us that you came on, and we're so open and talkative, and definitely going to have you guys back on for some other things.
Awesome.
God bless.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
Right on.
And thanks everybody who checked it out. Y'all make it magic.
All right. Peace.
Yeah, thanks, Darren, even though you're probably not listening right now.
He's doing Sunday things, all right?
Hey, I get it. It's Sunday, and it's 3:00 there. I totally get it.
Fair enough. All right. Good night.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Peace out.